his offensive line get the run, and so you have that opportunity.
Be just yeah.
Did you formally meet with Bing?
No, not here.
Like they're a blocking scheme in the teacher, and did you formally meet the guy? Great guy.
I don't think I formally. Maybe at the Senior Bowl, but I mean, I feel like just letting me get out in space, let me open up and run. I feel like that'll be best for me. Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been running the past couple years at Purdue, just turning and running. So I feel like that benefits my game a lot.
What part of your game do you think best translates to the NFL?
I feel like my quickness and my explosiveness helps me the most. I mean, my knowledge of the game and having that extra second to not think about something that I know that's coming. I feel like that'll help me a lot.
What was it like? Have you had a chance to speak with instructors?
Yeah, I have throughout the process. It's been good. Every meeting I've had has been solid.
So when you talk about either playing on the outside or sliding inside, what they like.
Yeah, I mean, some teams have said something about guard, some have said center. Nobody has really told me, like, oh, we don't think you can play tackle, so I haven't really too in-depth conversations about it, but I'll be ready for whatever.
What do you think about the center position? You challenge that with
I mean, it'd be different. I mean, I've never played center. I just recently started getting into snapping and, getting off the ball at center, but it feels good. I feel like it'd be a nice challenge to learn something new.
What have you learned in terms of the technique of snapping the ball?
I wouldn't say the snapping is too hard. I mean, it comes pretty natural. It's just looking back, and once you figure out, just taking like 50 snaps a day and just trying to get the muscle memory down of the pocket and whatnot, it's not too bad.
Marcus, how do you think your hand usage and quickness kind of changes between those positions on the offensive line?
I mean, just in the phone booth, inside it's quicker. Everything's quicker. Everything's got to happen a lot faster. So, I mean, it'll definitely affect it, but just got to be smarter with your hands and be ready to go.
Marcus, what's your favorite short yardage goal line play to hear come in?
I'll probably go wedge and just hand the ball off out of the eye, let him go up the middle.
And what's normally your assignment in that play?
You go down, you mush somebody's shit. He was a solid player for sure. It was a good game. He was more of a finesse guy from what I remember, and it was good to go against all the talent that they had. They had a great defensive line, but he was a solid player. He didn't play that game, but I mean, I thought Derek Harmon was a hell of a player. If anybody stood out, him and number 90, was it Caldwell? Yeah. So those two were pretty good players. He's going to be great for the Oregon organization. I mean, I feel like he works his ass off. He's one of the top hard workers I've ever seen. And he's a robot. He's a machine.
Your footwork evolved but quickly, right? From 1 year, and sometimes even from part of the season to the end of the season. What was it about the coaching you received that allowed you to be more efficient and more powerful with how you use your feet?
I feel like just this offseason I didn't have all the time in the world coming off the injury, so a lot of it was just mentally thinking things through and envisioning myself and practicing a lot once I was able to come back, and just going through that, talking with my coach about trying different things in certain situations, and I feel like just practice over time and good reps help me get there.
So you were with Nick Scorton when he had that big jump in 2023.
Yeah.
What allowed him to make that big jump in your mind?
I mean, he did it. Me and him put a lot of work in that offseason going against each other, trained together this offseason as well. So I feel like he's always going to work his ass off. He's a hell of a talented player. And me and him going against each other definitely was iron sharpening iron.
I know he put on weight when he went down to A&M, and he cut it getting ready for this.
Yeah.
Where do you think his ideal scheme fit is and body type is?
I'd stick him at DN. I mean, I know he hits hard and he's quick as shit. He's got some good moves to him for sure. So I think you stick him on that edge in a true edge spot, it'll be great.
Marcus, you meet with plenty of NFL teams this week, but have you met with the Buccaneers yet?
No, sir.
What teams have you had performers with so far?
Denver, North Carolina, Miami, Houston, Baltimore. one more that I'm forgetting.
So, your memories of being at Purdue University and what it means to you to be a Boilermaker, not just on the field, but off the field.
Yeah, I mean, it was always important for me to, protect the peak and just carry myself the best that I could, be the best version of myself each day. And I feel like Purdue helped me get there, and it's definitely a hell of a place if you want to learn and make yourself a better player.
Your favorite food spot in West Lafayette?
It was a place called Gaza, Zennie Barbecue, solid Korean barbecue joint.
Marcus, who's back in that O-line room, who's going to be up here on one of these podiums in the future?
I'd love to see my guy, Bakeen Coley. He's a raw player, but hell of an athlete, super strong. A lot of guys left, man. I haven't met too many.
No, you're right. That's modern college football.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
were you ever tempted, or were you always committed to sticking and staying?
I was tempted, maybe, coming out of 23, but I was kind of stuck on just thugging it out one more year and getting the job done.
And you did.
Yes, sir.
Who was the toughest guy you went against this year, and what did you learn from that game?
Even though I only got like 2 reps against him, probably Abdul Carter. I mean, just watching him on the field, he was moving around something different for sure.
What did you learn about yourself in that?
In that game, I only got 2 reps against him, so I was pretty shitty about it. But I mean, I'm ready to go whenever, so I was ready to go. I was ready for it. I was waiting for it.
You had an offer to play defensive tackle at high school. How does that help you, especially in 2022, time guard and anticipation of what you're expecting?
I mean, I feel like especially when I got to college as a freshman, Branson Dean was a hell of a player, and he got me right supremely when it came to getting ready and the college experience. I mean, he was twitchy, he was fast. He's on the Bills now, so he was the one that probably got me the most ready and learned what to expect week in, week out.
When did tape study really click for you?
Probably sophomore going into 23, 22 going into 23, just especially moving to tackle, having to watch more tape and understand the position and trying to study my opponents more.
What's your favorite tape study play, a play you only could have made because you got in there and got into the tape?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I don't know if I have a specific play, but like just being in anticipation, when it's coming off the edge, being ready for it. I feel like just picking up on cues, where the safety's at compared to the slot guy.
Okay, what's your favorite late adjustment play? Like something that you didn't see at first, but then you spotted it late and then were able to take care of it.
I mean, probably similar, just picking up stuff off the edge, even when you're not expecting it. I remember Ohio State did like a random shift one time where they were in like a 3-down and brought the edge guy, and I was supposed to sit on the down man, but probably just making last-second adjustments like that.
While we're talking about your recall, then what was your favorite block you made
I mean, if I had to pick one, I remember against FAU my redshirt freshman year. It was a pull block and trap block, and I just smoked the guy pretty badly, knocked him clean on the ass. That's probably one of them. I mean, I got a lot of favorite blocks, but that was probably up there.
I can do this at this level.
It was solid. I feel like I've always wanted to keep going. Like, I feel like more than anything this year has kind of helped me understand, like, yeah, if I could do this now against these type of players, I should be able to, keep advancing my game and do it the next level too.
Marcus?
You're pretty soft-spoken here at the podium. The level of nastiness and craziness that comes out during the game, is it a different kind of tone, or do you kind of try to keep this?
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm a different person on the field, in a good way. So it's definitely around when that football time comes. I mean, just being blessed for every opportunity that I have definitely helps me.
What are the big things you've learned most from had to go through in rehab and things like that about taking care of your body?
Yeah.
What has that taught you?
It taught me a lot. I mean, being in the training room pretty much all day, every day for almost the entire offseason. I mean, it taught me a lot. I mean, it helped me grow as a person, it helped me grow on the field as a player. So it taught me a lot.
What do you do differently now in terms of preparing yourself for games now that you know how to get back from an injury?
Yeah, I'm stretching every day. I'm making sure the body's ready to go no matter what's going on. So it's just making sure that I'm feeling the best, ready to go at all times.
Marcus, last one here. You got bigger as you got older.
There we go.
Some of your skill set on the
I feel like I had a really good understanding of the game. I feel like I was a really good passer. And, you know, being able to set things up with my size and size advantages, I'd be able to set things up for my teammates a lot. I was around. I was all over them. I'd bring it up if need be, for sure.
Penny Hardaway. We're talking about Penny Hardaway. I got you.
Ooh. It depends on what you're giving me. I mean,
For a guy your size,
yeah.
how would you handle the ball?
I can handle the ball pretty well. I felt like, I mean, like I said earlier, I was a big Derrick Rose fan growing up, and I always wanted to be a point guard, but size definitely didn't allow it. So I definitely had a good handle for sure.
You were the best hoop in the O-line room, though.
Oh, for sure. Thanks.
Hey, Marcus.
Yeah, post him up. Stacy, post him up.
Well, look at him. I mean,
Yeah, no.
when he's talking about Derrick Rose, I'm thinking, that's got to be a point guard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, point forward, I guess they call it nowadays. Point forward.
Point forward. You could do
That's what they call it nowadays. But yeah,
That's right.
yeah, because position is basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that kid.
That's okay, but
Yeah, speaking of post play, I got to post Stacy up here last year a few times. Working straight down.
Yeah, so we got Bears channel, but I cover a couple other teams for
Yeah, I mean, the communication piece was huge for us. It's, I'm sure a lot of offensive lines think it's a big part of the game. So, for me...
then I'm bringing a winning mindset. I'm not going to come in as, a rookie that just want to put on a jersey. I'm going to bring that winning mindset, letting the veterans know that they can count on me. If they put me in the game, that the person across from me will be a difference maker in the game.
Jonah, what's your favorite short yardage goal line play and why that play?
I'm going to go with a dual scheme because we want multiple combinations on the line and just being able to put bodies on bodies. It's good for the running back as well. He could bounce out and leaving them one-on-one with the corner, which is what we want. So
we just saw what the Eagles did, what the Ravens are still doing. After everyone said, oh, it's a quarterback-driven league, we now see the run game is now flourishing again. Talk about the focus on the things that you think you bring to somebody who wants to get back to running the rock.
I bring that Mauler mentality. Well, for my game, I'm a level-headed guy, not a high-headed, low-headed. And I don't let that level-headed take away the fact that I'm mean on the field. So I'm glad that everyone's running the ball again now. So just being able to put bodies on bodies and focusing on driving the guy in front of us vertically, getting to the second level.
What do you think of the tush push when you watch it? Is that something you'd like to try to run?
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'm hearing that they're trying to ban it, so which it doesn't make sense for me. So
it reminds me of rugby, right? I mean,
we call that a scrum.
Right, exactly. It's not that different.
No.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonah. Always.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so it's just how do you time it before this? Yeah. The athletes and so is that cool? We can do it right here if you want. Is that easy?
Are you doing all the testing? Yes. I love competitors.
No. The hits are going to hurt once.
Right. I'm just gonna stand here and listen to smart people.
Where are they? Yeah.
He's supposed to,
I mean, relative to, I think he should be drafted third, fourth round. And
because he was insistent to me last night, that he's going to get drafted late first. He said, Mark, he's going to be drafted late first.
There's plenty of redeeming qualities, there's things to like about him. It's just, the injuries do worry me.
Yeah. Like you said to me, did you watch the Alabama game last year? I said, yeah. Did you watch the Michigan game this year? I said, yeah. He said, well, Michigan players, and they thought they were in the locker room. The Michigan players are the best quarterback we ever faced. What do you say in response to that?
I give credit for this.
But those are college kids, and they're having an emotional response.
Going out of there, going to Michigan, that didn't phase
No. By the way, I agree with you. If you saw my sheet, there's plenty of positives. It's not like I have one positive and 10 negatives.
No question. Right.
Yeah, you know. But I don't think overall it speaks to a first round pick. No, the tape is not.
Greg, do you think Millwall can be fixed? Because I see too many things. If a guy has one thing wrong, I think he can fix it. When there's like 5 things, it scares me.
Well, I would say this, and different coaches will have different points of view. Of course, yeah. But he doesn't see it really well.
No.
And so therefore he's late a lot, and in college he got away with that a lot because you can.
Strong arm, yeah.
All right. So even a lot of completions, he was late on throws.
And made guys adjust plays that would have been bigger plays.
The question is, can that be fixed? You know, like I said, you'll get different answers. I would say more often than not, it's hard to fix because you just either see it or you don't see it.
My comp from is Jake Locker.
That's an interesting comp. Yeah.
I feel like Locker had a strong arm, was a good athlete, but he just couldn't see it.
A lot of people now, because of the way the Eagles played this year, are saying, well, he could be Jalen Hurts because the Eagles were not a passing team. And you know, there were plenty of games this year where Hurts threw for 120 yards and they won. You know, so
hey, look at Greasy's entire Super Bowl run.
Yeah, but that's a different.
It's a different era. I was watching that era too. I'm not quite as old as you, but I watched that. I watched all those games. I was a Washington fan. I watched them destroy.
Yeah.
But people are trying to say you can get back, not all the way back to that, but you can get back to dominant run game.
The Eagles were theoretically, in the way most people think you have to build a team and win in the NFL, the Eagles were kind of an aberration.
It's hard to get that much talent, unless you're Harry Roseman.
I mean, they have the best O-line in the league, and clearly the best run-blocking O-line.
Correct.
They had Barkley.
Yes.
You know, they have 2 big-time receivers.
Yes.
They had the #1 defense
Their
in the league.
defense
I mean,
is...
When you put all those things together, you don't necessarily need your quarterback to go 30 for 40 for 380 every week.
I mean, that is what the Dolphins did in their run in the 70s, basically. They put together an incredible defense, the best run-blocking offensive line in the league.
But I mean, that's for the people that like Milroe. That Hurts is the comparison they make.
It's unfair to both players, though, right? Hurts was a coach's kid who was really developed in certain areas. So people looked at his weaknesses. His strengths were really...
Hurts has defined weaknesses that the Eagles camouflage by the way they play.
Which is what smart teams do.
Right. But of course, because he's been in 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, and all the credit to him, you know, no knock on Jalen Hurts. But if you say, like, if I say it on a radio show, because he's been in 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, all I get is, well, you're a hater.
Well,
but I know, because I'm close with people in the Eagles organization, I know there's stuff I just would never say that I know.
Right.
You know, and I know from watching tape, too.
Also, but to his credit, the best game he's ever played that I've ever seen and played at any level of football was the Super Bowl they lost. Like, he was really good.
That was the best game he's ever played. He was really good, yeah.
He was really good. Let me put it that way. He's really, really good.
Yeah. So, you know, we'll see, but I think it's going to be hard for Milroe. I mean, let's put it this way. It would be hard early. Like, you know, he's not a first-round pick. He shouldn't be.
No, please no.
But this is a weird draft because I'm telling you right now, there's only going to be probably 10 players in this entire draft that have first-round grades.
Correct.
In a normal year, it's maybe 15 to
18. And last year was a really good.
So this year, guys who, when they get drafted in the first round, there are going to be some guys where a lot of people go, wow, that guy got drafted in the first round. But you have to draft.
My prediction is run on offensive linemen, like guys who can play tackle. I think there's going to be more tackles off the board than most people think.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not a mock draft guy. I don't do work like that. So I don't even. It's just frustrating. Yeah, it's a waste of everyone's time, but we do it anyway. Like yesterday, I don't know if you were here yesterday.
I was here Wednesday, Thursday.
The first question somebody asked me was the birdie, which was ridiculous. You know, was, well, I see in mock drafts now that you're no longer in the first round, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, who gives a fuck about mock
Plus,
drafts?
Luther Burden, I promise you, is not checking out mocks.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, I mean, what do you want the kid to say?
It's a terrible question.
Yeah,
it's a terrible question, and it's unfair to. You're wasting his and your time.
Correct. But anyway, so yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
The legendary Greg Cosell is, I think, one of the most intriguing and fun people to discuss things. Hey, Travis May, the legendary Travis May.
How are you?
So.
Am I being interviewed right now?
Briefly.
Okay.
but informal-ishly.
It's no informal.
Yeah, it wasn't informal with Bill Carroll.
An informal with Bill Carroll. Everyone's buzzing about two things yesterday. Obviously, how incredibly athletic the defensive backs were, and how incredibly not so athletic the tight ends were.
Yeah, I was actually the fourth most athletic tight end in the combine, and I didn't actually have to get out of my seat. So.
It was not super great. I think it'd be fair to say. Are there any guys that you at least feel didn't hurt themselves yesterday?
Yeah, Terrence Ferguson actually probably really helped himself.
I'm with you on that.
I mean,
He sent me back to the tape, as they say.
Oh, seriously, yeah. And when I was talking to him both at the Senior Bowl and here, he was just like, I don't think, when I asked about like his most underrated aspect of this game, I was like, I think just that athleticism. People just don't think I'm fast or whatever.
Well, now they know.
Yeah, now they know. He's like 4.63 or whatever it was, and he's got that. He's just like a smooth runner, So he has that speed.
He doesn't look super explosive,
yeah,
but
exactly.
he can.
He'll run by you anyway. So
Nice second gear.
Exactly.
His first gear is okay. His second gear is great.
Yeah. And then late round guys, I think even prior to even free agent consideration, Joshua Simon. I think
He helped himself.
I think so too. Yeah, and he, I talked to him about playing in multiple schemes at Western Kentucky and then the transfer to South Carolina and still being, one of the more productive players there despite the freak athletes all around him. And so yeah, I think that definitely helped him too. So two players that stood out for sure.
And then after that, you're looking at apparently blocking tight ends, I guess is what you're looking at.
Yeah, that's basically all you got. Although I will say, I think people, we're used to in the past couple of years seeing like really freak athletic groups. And I think the best athletes.
Where's
did
Evan
test
Ingram?
yesterday. Yeah, right.
Oh, the best ones didn't. Yeah.
But still, I think we forget that historically the average time for a 40 for tight ends is like 4.76, 4.77. So like, we're not blown away by
to
that.
Me, for a full service tight end, I'm targeting around 4.74. And if I'm blocker, 4.82, I'm fine with.
That's fine.
And then below that, even for blockers, I get a little nervous because it probably also means they're not super powerful. Also, like a speed is power. People forget that strong people are usually fast also.
Exactly. And if you're approaching 5 seconds, you probably should just play rec fight football. But,
Or put on 30 pounds to become a tackle.
There we go. And that works too. You've seen that done numerous times.
Who are you excited about here today?
Well, I was really excited to just get some clarity from Josh Simmons on his injury timeline, and he was saying they're going to cut him loose by his pro day in April, which is kind of crazy. So
well, that's a win.
That's really fast.
That's a win for him.
Fast,
so he's a fast healer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and just improvements in general with this kind of injury. So, and he was talking about only meeting with teams like in the early first. So I think if
he's not making it past the middle of the first.
Yeah. So even meeting with the Patriots extensively, and they have picked 4.
That's a good fit for him. I mean, maybe not. They may trade down. I don't think he's going to be the fourth guy off the board.
I don't think so either. But that would be crazy. But I think that's probably the absolute ceiling for him because he was trending towards the obvious OT1 prior to the injury. And if the injury is not a concern, then there you go.
Yep. I just spoke to Greg Cosell. He says he only has 10 first-round grades this year.
It's a light group. I mean, it's normally like in a good class, 20. Like
right.
Consensus
last year was
board.
18 for me.
Yeah.
I think most people were somewhere in the high teens last year.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit, I saw some quotes like, pick 11, like pick 35 this year.
That's a slight exaggeration.
That's a little much, but I think there's a big group, though, that are really strong. Hey, I would really love that player in round 2. I would really love that player in late first round.
I was kidding. Well, maybe not even kidding, but I was saying if I would take my 4th and 5th round picks and my 1st round picks and trade them all for 2nd round picks this year.
Yeah, once you get to, I was talking to one of our guys here who covers the Colts, and he's really plugged in with scouts around the league, and he was just saying, look, pick 20 something to like 75 is basically the same thing in this class.
Correct.
And so I think that's a little bit of over exaggeration.
Yeah, I would say maybe 48 or so, but yeah.
It's a big tier that I would say, like when you're comparing within a position. There's a lot of similarities, and maybe not in style, but in terms of on-field expectation for sure.
Last thing, and I promise I'll leave you alone. Well, no, I won't leave you alone, but I'll stop. Oh, actually, don't you do that. Don't you tip me with a good time, Travis May. So I sort of, people talk about X, Y, Z, slot, whatever, but in most offenses, you line up everywhere nowadays.
Yeah.
So I just sort of break them out into small, medium, large is what I just do with wide receivers. Because I mean, it's like basketball. You just play it all over.
Yeah.
So who are your favorite small, medium, large receivers in this class?
Gosh, small, medium, large. My favorite large wide receiver, and this is not a secret. It's like it's T-Mac, it's McMillan. Like that's the
Yeah,
easy,
same here.
that's the
Right?
leg
Yes,
up.
everybody's going to say that
that's,
probably.
That's
Yeah.
the number one. I think the small, man. What counts as a small wide receiver? Like Luther Burden?
He's medium to me.
Yeah, okay.
To me, small is like if you're walking around weights less than 185, you're small.
I would say though, like the medium to big wide receiver that I value higher than a lot of people is probably going to be Trey Harris. Just because I mean, I'm a
lot of the
nerd,
same
and
guys.
I appreciate the strange profile that he put up last year with like the 5 yards per route run, and just talk to him a little bit about the pre and post snap reads that are required of him at Ole Miss and kind of how that sets him apart.
Lane Kiffin puts a lot on his guys.
Yeah, and so he's just a really intelligent player.
Yep.
And so beyond just the ridiculous efficiency profile, and then I think he's going to test athletically okay, not like blow you out of the water. But
my guess is 4.48.
yeah, so and that's fine. So I think he just does everything well, whether it's taking a slant to the house or making the right post snap read to beat it, the coverage that he shouldn't be able to with the skinny post. So it's just like I like him a lot.
And he takes hits and holds on to the ball. He runs through contact fairly well. He's a full service wide receiver.
Yeah, and then I think Matthew Golden, I was really impressed by him this week. I hadn't really gotten to we covered Texas, but I'm not the guy who covers Texas for us. I hadn't really had a chance to talk to him much until this week, and really impressed by him. Also, just an incredibly intelligent player, and the way that he transferred from Houston and then immediately became basically the wide receiver one for the Longhorns. Like that's ridiculous. You shouldn't be able to just show up and be like, hey, I'm the best player now on a college football contending team that it's one of the best rosters in the nation.
Well, we saw Cam Ward go from Incarnate Word to Washington State, be immediately the best player, the best leader, the best everything. I think, especially nowadays, the difference between quote-unquote levels of competition are now much more narrow than they used to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the talent's kind of flattening out a little bit with the transfer portal and everything. So
exactly.
That changes little things.
People tell people when they find all these incredible insights that you bring to the table. Where can they find more Travis May?
On X, that's FF_Travis M, and then you can find all my written stuff over at A2ZSports.com.
Excellent. Thank you, Travis. And now we have what we call a lull. This is what it looks like when nothing is happening. The legendary Jeff Joniak is here from Chicago's 32. We got Stacy was going to challenge Mr. Imbo to a little game of one-on-one or horse maybe. Oh yeah, he was a hooper until he was like 16. A la Lawrence Taylor. Never played organized ball till he was in 11th grade. Organized football at least. He played basketball.
Learn for like a year or two and then maybe have another shot at being a starter. Do you think that that's just dead for him?
I just think he is who he is.
Boy, this is a very different event when you get to this day.
Yeah, I took a picture earlier, and I said, Lyman Day versus the rest of the
We
week.
just saw the Super Bowl essentially won by Trenches, and no one cares.
Yeah, like you go in there and like it looks like we're not.
Wild.
If when you're asking questions, if you need someone to get a video of you, I'm more than willing to help out, man.
Do we follow each other on Twitter, David?
I don't know.
We're about to. What's your Twitter handle?
At Dynasty Dorks.
Oh, you are the Dynasty Dorks.
Yeah.
I know I follow several Dynasty Dorks.
And now that the fact that I gave you last time is done. Remember, I told you no Alabama player had ever scored a touchdown.
I remember you saying
it happened
that.
now.
Now it's happened.
Yeah.
So, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? Because as a Dynasty dork, and I'm trying to get better at Dynasty. I've been doing it a couple of years now and get my ass kicked. But I'm growing. I'm learning. There's been a lot of whining and complaining about some position groups here.
Yeah.
Particularly tight-end group. And then I'm super excited about the running backs, wide receivers. I think people don't realize how good both those groups are this year. Partially because there's not like an obvious Julio Jones receiver, because there won't be one of those this year, next year, the next year after that. Wait another 11, 12 years maybe. There's not a guy who's both 6'3", 225, and is going to run 4.4 flat or less, right? So some people can't grasp that there's other ways to win as a wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
And then the running backs, there's big guys, big and fast guys, big powerful guys. There's small powerful guys even. But I think there's something for everybody in the running back group. Who are some of your favorites? Once again, I just say small, medium, large. So small, medium, large receiver, small, medium, large running backs. And if you like some tight ends, despite everyone suddenly turning on them as a group, tell me who your tight ends
Well,
are.
first of all, I think tight ends are good. Tight ends are good. I think you look at Elijah Arroyo.
Right, who
what
obviously
he's
isn't
able to
working
do,
out.
and you look at there's not many blue chip players in the draft, but there's 2 blue chip players at tight end. You have Colson Loveland and you have Tyler Warren. So you have those 3 guys. Fannin is going to be interesting. Tight ends that are that size don't necessarily kill it, but I mean, Jonnu Smith had a good
Especially when
year.
they don't test super well. Like Jonnu tested well.
And Fannin's like, if you look on PFF, you're like, this guy's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know.
I like him on tape, but I saw him at the Senior Bowl and I felt slightly less in love with him, and then I see him here and felt slightly even less in love with him. Can you talk me back into my love for Fannin, or?
I don't know. I think like measurables are measurables, and it's hard. But I would say, as far as receiver, there's a lot of good receivers. You're going to see a good second group. You got Jaden Higgins.
Yes, sir.
Trey Harris is really good. We'll see about some of these smaller guys like Isaiah Bond and Tez Johnson, but you definitely have your top guys. Your Tet, Luther, Emeka, Matthew Golden is a beast. And so, and then running backs are just good. Running backs, they're so
many.
Good. You're going to get 4th round running backs that are going to be starters. Devin Neal's kind of being slept on a little bit, but Trey Harris is going to be probably late 1st, early 2nd. And Trey Henderson, he might be, second. Everyone loves Hampton. Henderson might be number 2.
See, I'm a Quinton Junkins guy.
Yeah.
Where are you on him?
Yeah, I think if for the fantasy aspect, people, they see Henderson and they love the receiving ability, and you want a guy that's going to be able to, and if you play in point per reception leagues, a reception is worth 1.5 times a carry. So you want the guy that's going to be able to do that. But yeah, I like Henderson a lot. I think he's going to be a fantasy stud, and he can block the quarterback. Like, he can block for the quarterback. And that's
really smart, also, like a really smart football.
Coaches are going to love that. You put him in the right spot, you're going to see playoff contending teams are going to be more willing to draft a running back early. Daniel Jeremiah talks about you build the car first before you go and get the running back. The Giants did it the opposite and wasted Saquon's career.
Nice.
Then the Eagles were a ready-built team. You put him in there, he gets 2,000 yards.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Give me at least 1 or 2 more of your favorite guys that you think people aren't talking about enough.
I see the kid out of Stanford.
Eric.
Amenor.
Yeah.
Ellick, he's really good.
Do you think he's more than just a possession guy?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's really good. And then, I mentioned him earlier, but Devin Neal is really good. But Brashad Smith at SMU, he can catch the ball, and he's one of those guys that's lightning quick. But it's really rare to see somebody with that kind of pass catching ability as well as be able to run the ball. Like Jaden Blue's a little small.
Yeah.
So I'd rather Brashard Smith over
I'll
him.
throw out one of my favorite sleepers, and I'll find out if you love him or hate him. Where are you on Ulysses Bentley IV, who sounds admittedly like, a 19th century billionaire?
Yeah.
But where are you on him?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those. We're going to see how he competes and how he looks today against everybody else. I think that's my favorite part of the combine is seeing people out of pads without, you can't helmet scout. And so you look, and I remember seeing Isaiah Pacheco, and I'm like, who's that?
Oh, you hadn't seen him before.
I hadn't seen Pacheco play. And so, and speaking of Rutgers, the kid from Rutgers is
but Rutgers running backs always want to run through everyone's face. Yeah. So you can just put that in your scouting report for all Rutgers running backs.
I remember at the combine seeing that. But, what I really like about the running backs is watching them run the receiver drills. Yep. And so, I remember seeing D'Angelo Henderson
catch the ball.
Well, D'Angelo Henderson was different. He was shorter arms.
Right.
And he didn't really run the routes well.
He struggled with that.
And then you have Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, those kind of guys that look like they've been doing it forever.
Look like receivers.
Yeah, and so when they get out in space and they're tracking the ball really well, they got natural soft hands, those are guys who are like, okay, they're going to be a weapon in the passing game versus guys that are fighting the ball or guys that they're running a wheel route and they turn all the way around to catch the ball.
That terrifies me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you can tell they're not used to that part of it. And we saw that with the kid from UAB a couple years ago. He led the nation in rushing,
but
couldn't catch the ball. He said, "Yeah, I can catch the ball. I can catch the ball." And I mean, he might be on a practice squad now.
Yeah. Amongst the big backs, Ali, Hampton, Martinez. Do you like any of them? Any big guys? I noticed you didn't mention to me the bigger backs.
Yeah. I mean, you never know when it comes down to speed. But Caleb Johnson's a little bigger, and he's got that one cut. There's not a lot of wiggle in his game, but he's a one cut to go. And so you put him on, one of those wide zone scheme teams,
And just let him do that.
and he can do a lot of damage.
Well, David, once again, tell people where they can find all of your amazing work and content.
At Dynasty Dorks on TikTok and Twitter, and I work for Sports Gambling Podcast Network.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, man.
We'll talk more.
Yeah.
While we are still in what we call a love. There's the legendary Pat Kerwin up there for Sirius XM. And there's, Golick is still here. Golick Jr., I guess is what they call him. I'm going to park out here for William. Good Lord, Will Campbell's got almost nobody. So yeah, you can see the difference in who cares about what when you get to park in front of Will Campbell too. Then. Computer report. Yeah, I'm going to park out here too. Well, boy, it's a different scrum today. Not having to fight as hard.
Is somebody going to be trading up based on for sure? I don't know about all that.
Well, since I've got to come up with content while nothing's happening, do you want to answer 2-3 questions about some of your favorite guys so far?
I feel like that trade makes a ton of
Yeah,
sense.
I can. I haven't watched a ton of guys since I do beat work, but yeah, I can.
Well, you've been concentrating probably on the players that you could see,
100%.
which makes perfect sense. So who have you been paying special attention to and why?
Yeah, I cover the Jaguars, especially the number 5 pick.
Well, the good news is the Jaguars use a lot of things.
Absolutely. I mean, Will Campbell, we're about to talk to, is absolutely, they want to go offensive.
That could help.
Guy,
That could help.
Mason Graham's another one. And then, some of these, other guys who tested really well, maybe, they trade down, maybe a guy like Jahad Campbell,
And in later rounds, you could even
100%.
attack some of those
And
positions.
I've been impressed by, some of these offensive linemen. Jalen Rivers from Miami, he's a Jacksonville guy, went to Oakland High School, about 30 minutes away from Jacksonville. He's, has guard, tackle versatility. He even said he can play center. Those are some guys I'm really, interested in.
In terms of the defense, which, is probably still one of the strengths, but you always want to add more depth. Are any defensive players that you're thinking, this guy could add to what we got?
Yeah, no, I absolutely. I think, obviously there's been, some guys who haven't been able to test this week. I think Kenneth Grant, though, is somebody who, again, another trade down option, somebody who, big space eater in the middle of defense. They struggled to defend the run last year.
Yes. Yes, you said that very nicely. That's
Exactly.
true. Struggled is a good word.
Exactly. In the cornerback class, I think Kobe Bryant is another guy who, probably very underrated at this point. A guy
I'm
who
agreeing.
Really, rise up boards after this week.
Cool. Tell people where they can find and follow you.
You can find me at _John_Shipley. Cover the Jaguars for Sports Illustrated. Jaguars on SI.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you, Bill. Appreciate you, man. Good seeing you, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Your bag and my bag are apparently flirting.
It's all good, man. I just wanted to get it out of the way. So.
No, I appreciate that. And now we wait. So as I said before, despite the fact that we just saw a Super Bowl largely won by the trenches, it is a very different experience today from what it was on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is where you find out who really loves ball. This is where you see who really grinds it out.
Well, I will say this. I think, I think
the issues with the thing that just like Pop and Drake thinks that they just got to get on the same page. There are a couple of times where it's like run a little bit too far in the zone, they'll settle down the windows, and then it's a misfire. But that's the kind of thing with time. He's got pretty much everything else plus, sliders.
So now is the time when I fill time because you can sort of see there's not a lot going on in the hurry up and wait period, but I will mention a couple of my impressions the past few days. As I've said before, and I will say again, this defensive tackle group is very interesting. And whether you want the giant space eater, whether you want that one gap penetrator, that you maybe even move around up and down your line. Oh, here we go. One of my favorite people. I'm going to bother you in a second and ask you some stuff.
Oh, gosh. Okay, let's do it.
So, not just because nothing else is going on, but also because Zach Hicks is one of my favorite people on the whole planet of Earth. I am definitely going to have to throw some stuff at him. So, not surprisingly, this is a good year for some of the stuff your team needs, right? So it might not be a great year for some people, but it's a great year for you.
Yeah, we're busy. We're busy. We kind of need defense tackle depth we could use. We need defense tackles in this one. Corners and safeties. I like this corner.
And there's so many D tackles.
Tight end. We need a tight end for sure. It's a pretty good tight end. I mean, they ran slow last night. But
the ones who ran.
Right, but the other ones.
The fast ones didn't run.
Right.
So I try to remind people, don't jump a cliff yet.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I like the O-line class. Especially in the depth rounds like the 3, 4, 5s, and the Colts could just use some depth because they kind of have their guys set on starting potentially. So yeah, it's a good line, good group.
Now, we just saw a really, really impressive, at least in testing, and the tape too, to some extent, group of defensive backs. Now, the Colts have spent draft capital on defensive backs. They are not afraid of drafting defensive backs even pretty early. Do you think there's even just, whether it be depth or even a guy who might be a potential starter, that the Colts might be looking at amongst the defensive back group?
I think so for sure. With Lou coming in, it changes their mold a little bit because like Ballard likes big physical corners, but the speed doesn't have to be there, right? Lou, big physical, but you need to run. You need to be able to turn and run because he likes that press man. He likes that get in your face.
We just watched the Super Bowl.
Right. So he likes when guys can get in the face, where Ballard's more of that Tampa 2 cover 3. We're going to hit you and then get back into our zone.
Bail.
Yeah.
Bump
So
bail.
the guys they have now, you have Jalen Jones who ran a high 4.5.
Yeah, I remember.
We love Jalen Jones. He's physical and he's competitive, but maybe not the perfect fit. Sam Womack, waiver wire pickup, can turn and run, a little smaller though.
He's a small guy. He's quick at least.
Yeah, good player. But
welcome to the nickel.
Yeah, right. Yeah, him and Kenny can share that.
Right.
But they need guys who are big and can run. I think they're going to go out and get a veteran on the market, but after that, you got to get some other guys in the room. It's not like they just need one. They need 1, 2, 3, 4. They need a bunch of guys.
Well, especially because, I mean, you play some pretty good passing offenses this year. I think you've looked at the schedule, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And also the AFC South's not always going to be down. Like you're not going to play a bunch of backup quarterbers. Like you have last year they played Mason Rudolph. They played
who actually had a decent game.
Yeah. Whoever the Dolphins put out there, because the Dolphins are putting different backups every week. You're not going to play Justin Fields early in the season, who was the backup for the Steelers at the end of the year. So they played a lot of backups. You need to just keep adding, and also in the AFC. I mean, what 3 of the 4 best quarterbacks in football in the AFC.
There's some guys who can sling it.
So you need to keep adding. I love seeing the big boys turn and run last night. I'm always a big corner that can run. You're in. Darian Porter, don't love your film as much as everyone else. But you could tell me you've never played football before. You give me those tangibles, and I'm gonna take you.
Right.
I always fall for that. So
when a guy's 6'2" and 7'8" and moves like that.
Yeah, and UTSA guy too.
They got a thing going at UTSA. Just camp out when your scouts there.
Yeah.
Outside their DB room and be like, let's look in.
outside their wide receiver room when they move them to DB.
Move it right. That's what they do. That's what they do.
Genius.
We recruit big wide receivers.
If I were in charge of college program, I'd see a 6'3" kid, 6'2" kid. I'm like, you're going.
He can run.
Yeah, my wide receiver room would be so tiny.
Oh, you can definitely compete at wide receiver. Yeah, yeah.
All my corners under 6 foot going wide receiver. All my receivers above 6 foot. You're going to DB. Yeah, I can do the big corners, big long corners. I can run.
Sure.
I can do the rest from there.
Do you have, not forgetting the Colts, you can never forget the Colts, but do you have favorite guys in the groups that we've seen so far, or guys you're about to see?
Oh man, just the guys who have tested or about to see it. So just anyone
guys you've seen or guys you're about to, or even just your guys. Who are Zach's guys?
Oh man, so I mean the Notre Dame linebacker Jack Kaiser, I'm interested in him because
he's the kind of guy that somebody's D coordinator is going to fall in love with.
I know, and I think that's where I'm falling for him is like the eyes and coverage are so good, and maybe it's because he's like my age playing in college. That's a big part of it. Oh, man, I'm so intrigued by the eyes and coverage. I want to see what the testing numbers look like.
That's big. Smart and tough. Everybody knows that. You want to know if he can move.
Azariah Thomas from Florida State, another big guy.
Did the back pedal bother you a little bit? Okay.
The movement's a little bit, and then he didn't run either, and I was like, we're going to get you into some shuffle stuff. We're going to get the back pedal away from you completely. You're only shuffling. You're getting physical at the line. That's it. And then, these O-linemen, I love these O-linemen. Tyler Booker's my favorite guy to watch in the class. Gray's Able, super fun.
A lot of great. I like Jackson Slater a lot, too.
Jackson Slater, yeah, all the small school linemen. You got a lot of small school linemen. Clay Webb was out here earlier from Jacksonville State. We had a good Senior Bowl. So I can talk to the O-lineman all day. Holland Pierce, you were talking to, great story, big boy. As long as he moves pretty well,
if he does, I feel he's Steelerish.
Oh, Steeler or Raven? He's AFC North.
Yes,
that's
AFC North.
AFC North.
Oh, Zach, tell people where they can find your work and follow you.
Yeah, at ZachX2 on Twitter. Over at Horseshoe Huddle with Colts on SI, and then Locked On Colts.
There it is.
Locked On Colts right here. So if you guys want to find me, check it out there.
Thank you, Zach.
Cool, man. Always good seeing you, buddy.
Yep. Hopefully soon-ish. Soon-ish. Okay. You're not running the combine this year? Well, you know what?
When they show up, that's when I.
We should do something about that. You deserve a promotion.
No, that's like whoever I had Tuesday didn't show up, and everyone's like, "Where's he?"
Yeah, Tuesday was, a lot happened Tuesday. There's Eric.
Hey, we reliable. Low end one.
In the room.
You want to tell you this?
The room is now full of room, where once it was not.
Like it'll probably go in the second round. Second round picks. Yeah.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Glad to see you.
Yes, sir.
We just watched a Super Bowl where the offensive line imposed its will and basically turned the tide of battle. As a person who clearly enjoys shoving other people and forcing them to do things they don't want to do in places they don't want to be, do you get excited about the fact that maybe the NFL is reawakening the importance of offensive line and the running game?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys right now, especially, that Eagles front, but also all over, the NFL that are playing at a really high level. And, they've been able to show that, the entire year. Saquon's an amazing back, but, it all starts up front with those guys.
Will, have you had a case?
No, sir, I have not.
Is that complete?
Yes, sir, I anticipate it, yes, sir.
Have you met with the Jaguars during this process?
No, sir.
What would it be like, being back with Brian Thomas, especially, after the year he had last year?
Yeah, it'd be amazing, For me, I'm just excited for any opportunity that I get, but be able to link up with some of my old teammates, Brian Thomas, Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson, guys like that. It'd be pretty cool.
Will, have you talked to teams about possibly switching positions, and how comfortable would you be doing that?
Yeah, a lot of teams that I've talked to, they see me as a tackle, but, I feel like, I've told all the teams that, I feel like I put the stuff on tape to show that I can play tackle at a very high level. But, I'm willing to do whatever I can to help the team win. And, if you told me that, I was going to start at right guard versus, left tackle being a backup, and I'm going to tell you to put me at right guard.
Your preference? A lot of debate around you is specific arm. How have you dealt with that, and how effective have you been for the course of your career?
Yeah, I think that I've, shown everything I need to on tape to show, like I said, I can play tackle at an elite level. You can go look at my tape. There's not one play on there that when I get beat, you say, oh, that's because he has shorter arms. Obviously I don't have, stereotypical offensive tackle arms, but, I'm aware of that, and that's something that I use, every week to, my game plan and preparation on how to attack different defenders.
You prefer gap scheme, zone scheme? Any preference there?
I like scoring touchdowns. So whatever that is, whatever we're best at, that's what I like the most.
And have you met with the Seattle Seahawks?
Yes, sir, I have.
How'd that conversation go?
It went well. I had a bunch of meetings. They all went very well. And, I was just super excited to get in there with them.
Will, there's a lot of tackles kind of clumped around where you're at in the middle of the first round. What do you think separates you from the rest of the group?
My work ethic. My resume speaks for itself. I've been able to play in the best conference, in college football at the highest level, for 3 years. And I feel like that separated me from everybody else. 3 years starter in the SEC, and you can go look at all the stuff. It speaks for itself. I feel like that's what separates.
Will, your body composition has clearly changed. What have you been doing differently after the season in terms of both your diet and your conditioning?
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing that I've been doing, during the season, eating clean, lifting, running, all that type of stuff, just trying to get ready.
Who's an offensive lineman that you really respect?
Being from North Louisiana, a guy that I always looked up to was Andrew Whitworth. He's from the same area as me, played at LSU. So any lineman out of the 318, that's a guy that, you look up to, him, Cam Robinson, other guys of that stature. But, whenever I was in high school, the guy that you really look up to, or that I looked up to that was in college at the time, was Penei Sewell.
You mentioned Penei.
Faster than people are anticipating, I'll tell you that.
Will, you mentioned,
no, sir, I have not.
Will, you mentioned you're from Northern Louisiana, Monroe. Did you speak to the New Orleans Saints, and what would it be like to be drafted by a team that's not that far away from where you grew up? Yeah,
I actually got an opportunity to speak with the Saints. Being from Louisiana, people only from Louisiana understand what football means in that state. And, to be able to not only represent myself, my family, and, that organization, represent the state of Louisiana again would mean everything to me.
Well, you mentioned Penei Sewell earlier. Who are your top three offensive linemen in the game right now?
I'd say offensive tackles. I'd say the top three, in my opinion, are Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, and then Penei.
I appreciate it.
Well, what do you want to do more? Are you going to do anything? What's your plan?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do the 40. I'm on broad jump and do position drills.
What do you want to showcase in those position drills?
I just want to show my athletic ability, versatility, right, left, whatever it might be, whatever they need me to do, I'll get out there and do it and just get excited to compete.
Will, getting thrown into the fire the way you did in college, what did you learn from that experience, and how do you think that's going to maybe apply to being a possible Wilson starter?
Yeah, no doubt. I've had the opportunity to go, like I said, to one of the best universities in America and, earn respect as a young player in a very high-level locker room. I had a lot of growing pains at first, a lot of learning experiences. Go back to my first play of college football. That was a learning moment for me. And, I grew every single game after that and just consistently got better, consistently stayed to the process, and, only grew from, game on game.
So no fear about your first season?
No, man. When you're out there, there's no fear in it. Everybody's got there to do a job. If you're scared, you don't go out there.
Well, what were some of your best?
Combine before where the narrative about the arm length, like Peter Skoronski had the same thing and had to answer questions. And you have to answer those questions. Does it piss you off? Is it something that it shouldn't define you as an offensive lineman, in my opinion, but I'm curious about yours.
Yeah, obviously, people have to nitpick something. So, I've heard it all my career. When I was coming out of high school, the college coaches, said the same thing, and I proved them wrong. And, that's something that I anticipate doing again. Obviously, like I said, I don't have the stereotypical, offensive lineman. If you had to draw one up in your mind, arm length, but, everything is blocked with your feet. and that's where I excel. I feel like my footwork, I can match it with anybody I need to.
That being said, the center position, do you have any interest in playing that, and what challenges do you think that would represent or present to you to try to play that at a high level in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to, like I said, play anything I need to get on the field and help the team win a Super Bowl. But I feel like I can play tackle at a high level in the NFL.
Have you met with the Raiders during this process?
Yes, sir, I did.
What was that like, just Pete Carroll and getting to know that staff?
Yeah, I mean, it was very good. A very good interview with them. They're all great guys. I'm just excited to see where it goes.
Well, you guys blocked Jaden a couple years ago. What do you think of his rookie year?
Jaden and Nuss, I had the luxury of blocking for, two of the three best quarterbacks in LSU history, probably in my opinion. And, with Jaden, his rookie year, it doesn't surprise me at all. A lot of people slept on him after his first year. And I remember verbatim, I told my dad he's going to win the Heisman Trophy next year. And, he did that. But, it just account to, his hard work, dedication, and the way that he pushes himself every day, nothing is surprising at all. He's an elite player, but he's an even better person.
Well, what are your best memories growing up on a farm and how that impacted you?
Yeah, I mean, it just taught me hard work, honestly. Being out in the sun, working, it just, it does something to you. And, whenever you get out on the football field, it just helps.
What were some of those chores that you remember?
A lot of stuff that probably y'all wouldn't understand and nobody else wanted to do.
Give us a shot.
You know what poly pipe is?
Poly pipe?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. If you ever drive by a cornfield or a bean field and you see the white pipe running down the side, I had to roll that out. Miles and miles and miles.
All the talk about your arms, but you just mentioned you have very powerful and efficient footwork. How did you perfect that level, and what are you still working on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I want to grow in every aspect of my game. That's something that I've told all the teams. I just want to keep growing as a player. But, something that I did, I mean, some of it's God-given, but I have a speed coach in Louisiana, in Monroe, actually, that I did all throughout high school.
Who do you work with?
Dudley Cowan. He's at TPS Sports right in Monroe, and he worked with me ever since I was a little kid, speed training and things like that. So, he helped me out a lot, too.
Well, if you go to a team where there is a set tackle situation, how hard do you think the transition?
Not at all. I've been working on everything. I'm a versatile player. I can play wherever I need to play to get on the field and do whatever I got to do.
How did you describe this past year to have that number 7?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to wait for 2 years, but it's the biggest honor I could receive other than being a captain. And I grew up in Louisiana, like I said, so watching guys like Leonard Fournette, Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Pearson, those are guys, young kids in Louisiana idolize. And to be able to be in that conversation with those guys and have my name brought up with those guys, it's everything I could ever ask for.
How important is it to you to have a voice in the offensive line and then doing that year one NFL teams?
Yeah, I mean, that comes with, play. You got to come in and play and, be out there making plays to come in and gain the respect of older guys. But, coming in there and just being a leader in any way I can, helping the team in any way I can. And, yes, I feel comfortable coming in and being a vocal leader as a young guy.
What are some things that you've learned in terms of hand technique throughout college, or what you think you can help elevate your game in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, something that I've been working on, I worked on last year, was using a lot more independent levers. Coach Davis, one of the best O-line coaches in America, he's been able to help me, in many aspects of my game, but that's, one of many. And, it's just something that you work on daily.
Will, what were some of your favorite battles in the SEC?
I mean, I got to play a lot of good players. I think we wrote a list after the season, going after, this draft right here. I think I'll be on the, close end to about 15 guys that will go in the first and second round. So, I've had a lot of good battles from a young guy all the way up until my third year. So it's really kind of hard to single anybody out because there are a lot of good players.
What's your best take? If you had to tell if you had to show a team or a fan base, like why you should be a top 5 pick, top 3 pick, and you would say, here, just watch the tape of this one game, what game do you pick?
From this past year?
You can pick any year.
I mean, you can go back and watch most of my games. I mean, there's obviously plays over my career that I wish I could take back. But, I feel like, I showed my dominance in every game. And, there's bits and pieces that I made mistakes on that I learned from each game whenever I did mess up. But, whatever game you want to go watch, you'll be able to tell.
So there's none that sticks out in your head of when you left that game, you were just like, man, that was the best one I've had.
Not like that because, I go into every game, with the same mindset, treat every opponent the same. I'm trying to dominate the guy in front of me and, the defense around me. And, like I said, there's bits and pieces and, certain plays from, individual games, throughout my 3-year career that I wish I could take back. But, it was a learning moment for me.
Well, what play would you point to that shows your competitive spirit?
There's a lot. I mean, I think anytime you see an offensive lineman straining through the whistle, driving a guy into the ground and just, really seeing that, he's going to give you everything he's got, I think that can kind of...
What's your favorite pancake?
I had a pretty good, I don't know. It's hard to really think about one specific game. I try to get a lot of pancakes, so to really be able to single one out would be kind of hard.
Will, have you been able to get any kind of sense of what type of leap it'll be from college to the NFL, from the SEC to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the NFL is a different caliber. But, me being in the SEC is the best thing and the closest thing to the NFL. So I feel like, the guys coming out of the SEC will have the closest grasp to it. Obviously, it's going to be an adjustment, playing these guys that are Pro Bowl rushers, every week. But like I said, being in the SEC, I was fortunate to, be able to see some of these guys who are now Pro Bowl rushers. And so, yeah, I kind of have a feel for it and kind of know what to expect.
Will, speaking of the SEC, what were some of the toughest games you went to on the road?
I'd say, Bryant Denny's pretty loud, Kyle Fields loud, and I'd say an underrated one definitely was Jordan Hare my freshman year. That was probably, one of the louder ones I played in, but, nothing matches Tiger Stadium at night, even though you got the Tennessee sticker on the back of your phone. Yeah, Emory, that's my roommate, that's my brother, and, whenever teams ask him, about Emory, I just tell them that, whenever you're dealing with me and him, you're getting two guys that came in together, that, grew together, and, like I said, we live together, and we're able to push each other like no other, it's very rare you find two guys come in of the same stature, that are working for the same goals, that don't have jealousy about each other. That's my brother, and we push each other to the max every single day. I'm super thankful for him, and, I wish him nothing but the best. He has a great family, he's a great person, and I'm just super happy for him.
Can you talk a little?
Yes, sir, I have.
How was that meeting?
Yeah, it was great. I really liked all the guys in there, and it was a great meeting. Like I said, earlier, all my meetings went really well.
Will, can you talk a little bit about your film study process over the course of the week and then how you apply that on game day?
Yeah, I mean, I like to watch all the guys that I'm playing. Our coaches do a good job of, setting some stuff up for us and, getting us, the answers to the test. I mean, everything they do, is to help us out. And I'm a big tape guy, so, in their facility, anytime I can, watch an extra tape.
Well, you got a chance to meet with the Bears this week?
Yes, sir, I have.
How'd that meeting go?
It went well, Great staff, new coach, know what all these about. It was a really great meeting.
Well, what was that meeting like in the sense of that team is run by former offensive linemen, the GM, the assistant GM? Does that give you any kind of comfort level when you're in a conversation with guys that know the job like that?
Yeah, I mean, everybody in the NFL knows the importance of, everything starts up front. And, to be able to have some people that have played that position, I think is huge.
Will, in terms of
about what they're looking for?
In terms of pure get-off, who are the top guys you face either in practice or a game?
Carroll Perkins Jr.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will.
Another guy is on my all love ball list. Like, you can tell certain guys, like, that guy loves ball.
Oh, yeah.
Farm boys usually really do.
Yes, they
You were
do.
here when Jack Campbell was here, right?
I was here.
Do you remember his answers? So someone asked him about being coached hard at Iowa, and he was, obviously coach. He said he likes when coach gets in his face and gets a little tobacco juice on his face. And I said, "Oh yeah,
Drive him home."
That guy loves ball. You like a little tobacco juice spraying on your face. You love ball.
Yeah, personally, wouldn't be my preference. I still love ball, but maybe not in that way.
Maybe not not to the Jack Campbell extent. Maybe that's
Maybe
why
not
Jack
that aspect of it.
I guess Jack Campbell loves all aspects, including flying tobacco juice. I guess
He's very proud of his Louisiana heritage.
Oh. Kids from Northwest Louisiana. Because he's from Northwest Louisiana.
Yeah.
So just to make it clear, like it's more a lot of it's more rural, obviously, and so once again, as farm kid, good all-around athlete growing up.
We might have our next ones coming up.
Yeah, get some Tyler Booker action. Yeah.
Monday to Friday. Radio row. Joe Schubert.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Some great content.
Over the road. Took my time getting over it. We had a great season. I'm really proud of my team this season put together.
So we are waiting on Tyler Booker.
The offensive line are weapons. They are.
Oh, playing with Bucky was amazing.
Are you, Anthony, you're a full participant
really
here?
have to do more. Bucky.
I love
He's not going
competitors.
to
Thank you, sir.
first touch, you know that.
Anthony Belton's doing everything. I love
I had a
that.
great time.
Oh
yeah, I did speak.
I think that's the best way to play.
Informal.
How did that conversation go? What would be like a team up with Bucky again?
It was great. I enjoyed talking to them. I would love to work with Bucky again. Great running back, great teammate, great guy.
What formals have you had this week?
I haven't done many formals.
Was the transition like going from grad to more, the FCS to FBS, and also just like going from very advanced up to
It was amazing. I had a great time at Rhode Island. I enjoyed my time there. I enjoyed my teammates and my coaches. But it was an opportunity to play at the highest level, and that's what I wanted to do. Like I said, playing with Bucky Irvin was great. Bo Nix, a bunch of great dudes. Was able to play in the Big Ten and have an undefeated regular season and win a Big Ten championship. So it was incredible.
Johnny, who did you face while you were still a Ram that you think could have competed at any level?
I'd say probably Josiah Silver at UNH. Great DN.
Yeah, I bothered Jim Nagy about trying to get him to the Senior Bowl. I was not successful.
Yeah, hey, that dude's a stud for sure.
Agreed. Started his career at Hampton before he transferred.
Okay, yeah,
he was an HBCU kid first.
I was committed to Howard University originally.
And you didn't go to the real HU?
No, I didn't. I did. I did enjoy being recruited by them.
So what's your relationship with Jackson Powers Johnson? Is he someone you leaned on throughout this process?
Yeah, no, we've talked quite a bit. Jackson, he's my dude. I really enjoyed playing with him. Great center, smart football player, and real knowledgeable about the game. I'm glad to see all the success he's been having.
Would you like to see your teammates with him again with the Raiders?
Of course, yeah, that's my boy.
Johnny, you played a couple times this year against Jack Sawyer and J.D. Tillwell out from Ohio State. Just what stood out about those guys going up against them?
Very good players, resilient rushers. They play hard.
What are the biggest challenges they present to you when you're playing?
Play. Like I said, just real good players.
So doing anything differently the second time around in terms of just pass rush games or stunts or things or anything like that? The roads is different from October.
Probably a little bit less stunts, I'd say.
What are you looking to prove to teams this weekend when you're meeting with them and even on the field?
I'd say to prove to teams.
Yeah.
What you're asking, I'm a resilient player. If you look at my career, I've started at every level. I strive to win. So that's one thing you're gonna get. You're gonna get a hard worker and someone who wants to win.
Is there a favorite play that you've put on tape over these past couple of years?
A favorite play, one that probably stands out is when I pulled that Texas Tech and got to the second level. Showing that kind of athleticism in the open space.
Johnny was
Philadelphia Eagles.
Say it again.
Remember the Philadelphia Eagles?
No, not yet.
Thank you.
Johnny, if you could have a play back, one that you was like, I should have done this. If you could relive a play, what play would you choose to do over?
A play?
Yeah. Or is there a whole game that you would like to revisit?
Honestly, probably. I wish we would have. Obviously, I wish we would have continued on in the college football playoffs.
What would you have done differently?
Probably just made it so that we got a faster start in that game. Yeah.
When you were at Rhode Island, when did you realize that you had a shot to transfer to a bigger program?
Probably during that sophomore season at Rhode Island, when we played Pittsburgh. That's probably the game that stood out to me.
Was there someone you went against? Was it Elijah Cansey that you went against that kind of made you realize that?
Got you just playing the FBS team and seeing that level of competition, and I really enjoyed that level of competition. Like I said, so it was great. Thank you.
As far as your O-line goes, you're one of the most dominant run supporters and blockers in this draft. How do you feel like you can contribute in the pass game at the NFL level?
I feel like I can contribute in the pass game.
Yeah, I love it. Anytime I can feel and get out there and hit somebody, go for it.
See me pass my games,
some of my favorite play calls
beforehand, and that's due to my preparation throughout the week. Like I really take pride in how well I prepare for the games and how well I prepare for stunts, because that's something that stunts really trickle down. So everybody does the stunts on Sunday, and those are going into the game plan for Saturdays in college. So we're just preparing for those. And I'm looking forward to
player. He's
really
there.
Stepping up.
I'm just doing my job. I'm doing my 111. He's doing his 111, and that's what makes it play. Everybody's doing that 111, so I'm not taking any credit.
I haven't met Tua, but I've heard a lot of great stories about him, and I've only heard great things about Tua. So it's great to block for and play with any other Bama guy, because we're wired a little differently. So having him, having his leadership will be great.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was probably travel. For me personally, I made the jump from FCS to the Pac-12, so Pac-12 to the Big Ten wasn't much of a difference to me. Like I said, every game you got to be ready to go in there and compete at any level.
It's going great. We really just compare notes, really talk about how the interview is going, and then it's always great when you have people here to support you, and the brotherhood and the bond that we share is like no other. So I'm glad to see all my teammates out here doing well.
Can you talk a little bit about?
Absolutely. Playing with Josh has been amazing.
They're really interested in my leadership. That's something that I've heard from every team that I've spoken to. They want to see how my leadership will fit into their program, and if I'll be comfortable leading in the room while being the youngest guy. My response to all of them, where I have to earn the right to lead, and what I mean by that, I'm not going to walk in day one and start telling a 33-year-old with 2 kids, a wife, and a mortgage what to do. That's just unrealistic. But I will learn from him and learn from everybody else through that program to see how I can contribute as a leader. And once I start playing, once I cement myself in that starting lineup, that's when I'll start to lead and really take over from that standpoint.
When a pretty big coaching change happens at Alabama like that, did you as players feel more onus to sort of take on some of the responsibility and be, like we got to step up, given that there's a seismic change at the top?
Oh, definitely. So as players, because at that point we saw it was up to us to keep the standard alive. Like Coach DeBoer, he had never been at Alabama before. He had never been under Nick Saban before. So that being so, we had to keep the standard going. That was something that we spoke about all season and all season. So I'm really proud of everybody who stayed, everybody who left and come back. They came back, but just to really stay and be a team during a hard time like that was crucial for us. And that bond that we have as a team, I'll never forget that team. I think that was even though we had better success in previous years, this might be my favorite team that I played on, just because of how close-knit we were, how tight we were as a team. And I love everybody in that locker room, and I hope they all do well.
Talk about the experience of playing under Nick Saban.
Oh, it was great. I love playing for Coach Saban because he pushed everybody the same way every day. The same way he would get on me is the same way he would get on Bryce Young, the same way he would get on Will Anderson. So he didn't care who you were. He was always going to get the best out of you no matter what it took.
I was able to get that experience that I needed, and with playing teams like
you said one more time,
even just like UNH, there's a lot of players at the FCS.
I have that meeting went well. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad to continue to put on for all the Bama guys. I love how physical it is, and I love how it gets. That's one of my strong suits. I'm able to put my weight, put my body on people, put my power on people, and it wears down on you after a while. It's hard for people to sit in there and take going against Tyler Booker all day. So the more you wear down, the more success I have later in the game.
Everyone talks about it.
Definitely, I love.
Oh, it was great for me to meet Brad. So actually, Alabama was the first time I had seen Brad. He actually got 2 sacks on me in high school, my sophomore year, his senior year, when he was at St. Francis Academy. He always let me know about it. But Brad's a great competitor. I'm excited to see how he continues to progress and grow in the league.
So he's real good with that. Every single player, no matter who he's going against.
I have.
What would it mean to be on a team with Will Anderson?
It would mean a lot to be on a team with Will Anderson. And as I mentioned, my leadership earlier, I've learned a lot of my leadership skills from Will. being around a guy like that who loves the game of football, that's something hard to pass up on. Like, the game of football, something not everybody loves it. I'm a guy who eats, sleeps, and breathes football. That's not everybody does it. Some people play for the money. Some people play just because they're good at it. But I love the game of football, and Will is another person who truly loves the game of football just as much as I do.
If I didn't meet with Mike McDaniel, who did you meet with?
Excuse me?
Who did you meet with?
Honestly,
yeah, I mean, that was a fun one. I also had
they're going to get a great running back out of Justice. They're going to get somebody who really cares. Somebody who I can say Justice really loves football. He's always doing whatever it takes to take care of his body. They're going to get a great running back and a great player and a great leader as well. I'm very excited to see how Justice plays in this.
Tyler, talk about the athleticism that Jalen Milroe has as quarterback, but can you talk about him as a quarterback and being able to block for him?
Oh yeah, being able to block for Jalen Milroe is great because he makes me look good even when I play bad sometimes, or I have bad plays, excuse me. And then what people don't see is how Jalen Milroe led pass protection meetings every day after practice. That's what people don't see and don't know. Like, so just seeing him step up even more than he did the year before, that was great for us, and that really helped us pick up a lot more blitzes. And as you can see, that related to the sack total from my sophomore year to my junior year. So him really taking charge of those meetings, that helped us a lot as an offensive line, and also helped me learn a little bit more about football, just seeing what things that he looked at, like, okay, I see this guy's shooter even, he's not blitzing. This guy, he's inching, he's looking inside, he's blitzing. So I'm very excited to see how he does in the league, and that's my boy. I love Jalen. When I met with the Bears, it was more of just them listening to how I speak about offense. They wanted to see my knowledge. It wasn't a lot of back and forth.
What's your favorite run game concept? Like if it's 32 and you got to have it, or 4th and 2, whatever. Like what's the one play you want to hear called?
My favorite run game concept is duo, and Coach Sheridan can tell you that whenever we weren't having a lot of success on offense, I was calling for it, and I was pretty much I was one thing short from getting on the headset and telling them, like, hey, we need to run duo. So I was just trying to get duo ran, and that was because it gives me and my left tackle, Kader Proctor, the chance to be at the point of attack on the play. And I love like whenever they call that play, that's when they're like, all right, but go ahead, be you. We're counting on you. And I love when the team counts on me. And then just playing next to Kader Proctor, that's a big, strong guy. So whenever it's me and him versus one person, we often have a lot of success.
Tyler.
Oh man, you put me on the spot here. I have a top 3 favorites. Definitely Trey Smith is number 1. I like watching Landon Dixon a lot. These are guys who I watch. Landon Dixon a lot. And I've always watched Quentin Nelson even back in the day.
I think he'll stand out no matter what. So
their technique and how they play and how their bodies move. So Trey Smith is a guy who is a similar size to me. So I'm just seeing how he moves his body, seeing how he uses his body against certain guys. But you can't watch every single offensive line because they do things that you just can't do physically. So understanding that, you got to know who to watch and what to take from them.
We talked about Quentin Nelson.
You mentioned leadership.
Got you. Nutrition. Making sure you just eat the right things. Try not to eat too many red meats. Definitely vegetables in the diet, and definitely not overeating or eating too late.
So I'm curious, do you ever think about that? Like you're working so hard.
Oh, absolutely. I grew up in Harlem, so I'm right by Spanish Harlem. I used to go down to the Dominican spot and get a place for rice and beans.
Me growing up and being such a good football player has prepared me and helped me also grow up to be a great man as well. So some of the lessons that you learn in football are very translatable to manhood. Like in football, you're going to have to go through a lot of adversity. And in life and in manhood, you're going to have to go through a lot of adversity as well. So just being around a lot of great men in my life, they have helped me prepare for that. They've taught me a lot of things. And I see football as interchangeable with my life. I've been wanting to be an NFL player since I was 9 years old. And it's hard to say, like, okay, tell us about your personal life, tell us about your football life. Because since the age of 9, it's all been intertwined. It's all been one.
Tyler, apologies if it's already asked, but what does it mean to you to be a captain? And then how do you lead?
For me, the captain at the University of Alabama, it meant the world to me just because of the captains who came before me. So I remember my freshman year, the captains were Bryce Young, Jordan Battle, and Will Anderson. All 3 of those guys, they gave their all. They showed me what it meant to lead, especially Will, just hearing how vocal he was and seeing how he wasn't afraid to call anybody out and how he was the guy on the team. That's something that I always wanted to be. So I just took a lot from what I learned from Will and added that to my repertoire of leadership. I lead by knowing who I'm leading. Like you can't lead everybody the same, just as you can't coach everybody the same. Some guys react well when I get after them, like, hey, you're not pressing hard enough. But some guys shut down, will shut down when they hear that. So first and foremost, I have to know my teammates. I have to have a natural love for my teammates, and then I know the best way to lead them.
I tell you, awesome. They took turns. Like those dudes as a group, relentless. Especially Jamar Caldwell, Derek Harmon, Jordan Burks.
I have, and being able to play with Quentin Nelson, that would be great. Somebody I've been watching for a long time, who has had a lot of success in the league. So being able to learn from him and be in the same room with him, that would be great.
Tyler, what's your?
He's a hard worker.
It went well. Had a great time. Really just went over my office, and they wanted to hear me talk about how well I did the previous office I was in.
Tyler, what's your favorite aspect of being a weight room worker? What do you really like to work on?
I really like to work on the hand clean and power clean because that's a triple extension exercise, and that's very relatable to the game of football because whenever I come off the ball in the run game, that's me rolling my hips. It's essentially a hand clean or a power clean. So just like I mentioned duo, you got me and Kaden Proctor power cleaning through you to put you in a linebacker's lap. So that's why duo is my favorite.
What are your 3-rep maxes?
3-rep max of power. We never did 3-rep max.
Okay.
Have you met with the Giants?
I have.
They're a team last year that loved to run duo. Did they talk to you about that at all? And just the physical presence they want in their offensive linemen?
Yeah, they asked me what my favorite run scheme was, and I said duo, and everybody kind of looked at each other and smiled. So
Who are some of the young guys in Alabama we're not talking about now that we'll be talking about next year?
Some that you're not talking about now that you will be talking about next year. I'm not sure if it'll be next year, but in the future you'll be hearing about Will Sanders. That's a guy who's an Alabama native. He didn't have the biggest name coming out, but he's somebody who works hard every single day. He'll be borderline annoying sometimes. Just ask me like how I look. But I appreciate that from him because he had a want to learn. He wants to learn all the time. He loves the game of football. Like you can tell he loves the game of football, and he wants to be great. And he used somebody like me as an older guy to learn from. So I'm very excited to see how Will progresses over the next couple of years. And I'll always be rooting for that guy. He's a great guy and a great football player.
I say your guard position gets undervalued in the first round. What about your game? Do you believe makes you the best offensive lineman in this class?
My tenacity and my relentlessness makes me the best offensive lineman in this class. Like what you see on play 1 is what you're going to see on play 8. Like I'm always trying to finish you. I'm always trying to put you on your back. I'm always trying to take a little bit of your soul away, play after play, and that's what makes me different from everybody else. And that's been the same from game 1. When we played Western Kentucky to the Reliant Quest Bowl when we played Michigan.
You said you played this game
around 3:30 to 3:35. That's what I played at this past year, and I had a lot of success there. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is where I need to play. If the team sees fit for me to be 320 or 325, that's where I'll be. I'm all for team success.
Tyler, what is something that you wish you could have shown more of during your time at Alabama?
Something I wish I could have shown more of. I'm not sure because everything that we did at the University of Alabama, it really helped show off my strengths, and I really enjoyed all 3 offensive coordinators that I had, and all of them had their knack, their play, and just me being able to have a lot of success under 3 different offensive coordinators showed my flexibility and me being able to perform in any offense.
You said you played this game for the love of the game?
Yes.
Why do you love football so much?
I love the game of football because it's the ultimate team sport. It's the ultimate team sport. Like you need people to win football. Like in basketball, one player can take over, and that's the most relatable sport. Like one person can take over, but football, you need everybody, especially on the offensive line. Like you need all 5 guys doing the same thing at the same time in order to have success. And the football also just teaches you a lot. Like no matter where you are in the game of football, like adversity is going to hit, and how are you going to respond? And then everybody loves to play football when it's easy, but who loves to play football when it's hard? And I feel like that's what separates the good guys from the great guys at the game of football. And then ultimately, I just love the aggressiveness and the tenacity of the game of football, and how is legal assault out there. And I love football because the brand of football that I play, I make guys not love football anymore. And I do that every down by really just giving them my the thing I love the most about football is taking a little away from us.
Tyler, do you feel comfortable playing both left and right guard at the pro level?
I do. I played left and right guard my freshman year of college, and I had a lot of success doing that. And I would even switch during the game, so I would do two drives at left guard, two drivers at right guard, so I'm very comfortable playing both.
What was that first meeting like?
The favorite player that I matched up against was T.J. Sanders from South Carolina. He's somebody who had a great double hand swipe. That's something that he was known for. That was his signature pass rush move, and that's something I had to prepare for throughout the week. And he was a great player. He was also great in the run game, so that's somebody who I really enjoyed going against. I did make a season.
What was that first?
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. I never got your name yesterday.
Oh,
Jack.
Go Carroll. How long have you been? Hey, how long have you been with SI?
I am not with this.
Wait, you are with? Oh, you're with USC.
No, yeah, but I'm doing Talk of Troy.
Fight on. I'm familiar with Talking Troy. We probably know some people in common even, but yes, how long have you been there?
I have been. Okay. I have been doing this for about a year now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been. Really,
Is this your first combine?
This is my first combine. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Are you live right now?
Oh, I am.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
So tell me about your first combine experience.
It's been a great experience so far. It has been really insightful. I've got to ask a lot of really good questions. I've got to talk to a lot of random people, a lot of really great players as well. And it's just been a very beneficial experience to my life so far.
So, did you also go to USC?
No, I'm going to USC right now, sophomore in college.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I won't say you're a baby, but you're very young. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how young you were.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what brought you to USC? What made you say this is the place I should be?
I just thought that it worked for me. Like, I love the football, I love the school, I love the academics, and so that's really what brought me to USC, and it was a great experience overall.
Well, pleasure meeting you. I'm going to get back to the podium, but we'll talk more later.
What has been maybe your favorite experience so far this week?
Just being around the guys. We haven't really started anything yet, so it's been just great to be around everybody and keep building relationships.
What about your time at Kansas? How do you think that really prepared you to be ready in the combine?
I think it prepared me a lot, especially our strength and conditioning program. It's an intense one. So I think Coach Gildersleeve and our strength staff there really got me prepared for pre-combine training.
Do you have like a favorite memory from a specific college game, or maybe?
I'd say our victory at BYU this following season. We upset them at home, and that was just a great battle with guys.
Logan, your explosion and agility is probably one of the things that makes you special. How did you do that?
I think that's just something I was born with, thankfully. Big man above just kind of provided me with that. Yeah, it's just something I've always naturally had.
What's your favorite non-football athletic activity?
Ooh. Probably golf. I'm
Really?
not great at it, but I always tell people I'm not great at golf, but I have clubs. So,
How long have you been playing?
I'd say I started playing my second year at Wisconsin, so probably 2020.
What's the best part of your game?
I don't know.
That's how most of us are.
Yeah.
Logan, what did you enjoy most about your time at Wisconsin?
My time at Wisconsin, just the friends I made. I mean, I made lifelong friends there as well at Kansas, but yeah, still keep in contact with a lot of guys there, and it's been great seeing those guys from Wisconsin and Kansas down here at the Combine.
Jack Nelson was one of them, right?
Yep, absolutely.
What did you maybe learn and take away from playing with him?
The dude, so we always called him Spidey, just because how quick his feet were. So just kind of watching him out on the field was something that I also implemented in my game.
Logan, the players back in KU on the offensive line, what do you think of being in the spot?
Could you repeat that, please?
To be in the spot.
In a year from now, my right guard, Kobe Baines, I'd say him, or even our center, Bryce Foster.
When you first got to KU, was being
Sorry?
When you first got to KU, was being in the combine on your mind?
No, so I'm a real step-by-step person. When I got to KU, it was just about getting on the field and performing the best I could.
What's your mindset going into tomorrow's workouts?
My mindset for tomorrow going to workouts, I'd have to say it's just going out there and just showing everybody what I can do, athletically and coachability and all that stuff.
Logan, this week at the Combine, have you met with the Buccaneers yet?
I believe in an informal, but I can't really remember it.
What would it mean maybe playing with Tristan Wirfs, Luke Gedeke, guys like that?
Especially with those great guys ahead of me, and they've been in the league for a while now, so getting to learn from them would be a great opportunity.
What's the NFL team going to get in left money?
NFL team is going to get a guy that shows up and does the right thing every single day, and just tenacity on the field.
What's your favorite game to show people on tape for you as a run blocker And what's your favorite game to show people to show what you do as a pass protector?
I'd say as a run blocker, I'd say Iowa State. Pass protection, I want to say TCU.
Why those two?
Run blocking, I felt like I dominated up front that whole day. And same thing for pass protection versus TCU from this last season.
Logan, zoner.
Sorry? Very healthy. Yep. No issues at the moment.
Zone or gap?
Zone.
Why?
So at KU, we were really, I've played both systems, gap at Wisconsin, zone at KU. At KU, we ran off the ball, and that was just kind of a big strength for me, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much.
Is that because you're so comfortable in space because you move so well?
I would say so, yes.
What helped you? You said God-given, but also you've worked on some things. What things do you work on to be so good at hitting moving targets, which is hard for big guys?
I would say just working with Coach Ag Paulson, my offensive line coach at Kansas. He just kind of helped me build up confidence to run off the ball and not worry about what the defender's going to do in the moment.
Have you watched?
Scott and Carroll, kind of things.
Scott really helped us not think as much, just go out there and play. But then on the contrary, when Coach Ag came in, he really wanted us to understand what our offense was doing. So I think when he came in and did that, it really slowed the game down for me and everybody else.
Have you watched Dominic Pooney's path?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you still close with him?
We were never really close because I came in old and then I ended up having that injury in 23. But he's a great guy, and I always enjoyed my time when I was running Guineas.
How old were you when you decided offensive line was the position for you?
It wasn't really a choice. It was just kind of decided for me. So freshman year of high school.
Did you get a chance to meet with the Bengals?
I don't believe so. I might do that tonight, though.
What is your favorite play over these past couple years that you put on tape that you would want people to go back to and say, oh, that's me?
I'd say Sarah wide zone. Just like I said earlier, it just kind of fits how I play. Just running off the ball, front side, back side. Then you can also go to our pin pole scheme at Kansas. I always did great getting out in space. Yeah.
Is there something you're looking to prove to teams this week? Is there something you're looking to prove to teams this week, whether it's meeting with them or on the field?
Just I'm a reliable guy, man. I can go out and show up and be ready for work any day.
Logan, who's the opponent that you think brought the best out of you that you faced at any of your stops?
Opponent that brought the best.
Or you can name a couple if there's ties.
The one that was the best in the Big 12 this year was Tyler Batty. I believe he's down here. At Senior Bowl, it was probably Shamar Stewart. And the cat from, I can't remember his name, but the Texas team.
Barron? Are you talking about Barron?
Yes.
So just quickly, those guys, what qualities they possess that made them good?
Those cats are explosive, man. They just really know how to come off the ball and play with good leverage.
Logan, have you formally met with the Kansas City Chiefs? What would it be like to block with Patrick Mahomes?
I have not formally met with them, but I have informally. I mean, that would just be a great opportunity just to protect such a talented player and learn a lot from him and then the guys that are already there in the offensive line.
Appreciate it.
What about KU prepared you to be here this week and ready for the combine?
I believe the people at KU alone just kind of helped get me where I am today. Granted, you got to do a lot of it yourself too, because at the end of the day, you are the one doing it. But Kansas really prepared me with Coach Leopold, Coach Ag. It's really our whole support staff there, and everybody across the board really assisted me and prepared me to get to where I am now.
Please describe your postseason nutrition and conditioning to get you ready to show off here.
Postseason conditioning goes 6 days a week. Nutrition, a strict diet. Just trusting the process.
What's on that diet?
A lot of not fun foods.
Do you have a favorite not fun food?
Yeah, probably Wendy's.
So you do let you still go to Wendy's?
No, but it's probably my favorite not fun food.
Do you dip your fries in the Frosty?
I have done that.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you meet with Seattle?
I don't think I've gotten to them yet. I did meet with them at Senior Bowl.
What's it like being here with Kobe Mello and Devin alongside the KU reps here?
It's been great for us to, represent our university. It's just a great opportunity for us to show what, KU players can do.
What do you think Devin Neal's top qualities are as a running?
His vision. You can just find a hole and hit it.
When you think about who you want to go up against at the next level, obviously you're going to face a lot of amazing players. Is there a defender that you've said, I really want to show myself against that guy?
No, I haven't even made it that far yet. I'm really just trying to focus on showcase myself throughout the combine, and then we'll worry about it when we get there.
Logan, you did some impressive things with the Senior Bowl. Can you just tell me about that experience, and then maybe anything you're building off of from that experience through now and then leading up to the draft?
The Senior Bowl, it was a great opportunity to just go down there and compete against great talent across the country. Got to meet a lot of great guys on both sides of the ball. Even talked to a couple specialists, so that was cool. But I would just say it prepared you to, it reminds you that you got to show up and compete every single day. Because at the end of the day, that's what the business of football is. You got to compete. So I kind of just go with that.
Speaking of competing, are you doing everything here?
Yes.
Excellent.
Who are those specialists you met with?
I couldn't give you names, but one of the Aussie punters, I remember speaking with him in the elevator a couple times. And, they're all, specialists are always great guys, man.
Is there a play that
Talk a
stands?
little bit about your nutrition and being able to keep your weight.
So I've never really had a problem to keep my weight. I mean, I've been 300 pounds since my freshman year, so weight's never really been an issue for me. Nutrition, just kind of staying consistent, and just trusting your nutritionist and follow the plan they've laid out for you.
One thing in our community, we eat beans and rice. I'm curious, is that included in your nutrition?
I'm not a big beans guy, but I can get down with some rice.
Who are some players you look up to in the NFL?
I've been watching a lot of Spencer Brown with the Bills. He's really the guy that I've been focusing on, just watching a lot of his play. That's really the main one I've been watching lately.
What have you been working on most to improve your flexibility?
I'm already pretty flexible.
Yeah, I noticed.
So improve not much, but just maintain daily stretches.
Is there a play that stands out that shows off your football character?
I think you can see a lot of my tenacity and backside of zone, and definitely in our gap schemes.
Logan, what advice do you have for young men who are looking at colleges right now, trying to determine where they're going with their collegiate careers?
Yeah, don't pick a. This is like something, I know it's a little different from transfer portal and stuff, but always choose a school for the school, because at the end of the day, your degree just still does matter. But find a program where you believe that the staff will be there for a while, because those people are going to help you excel to get you where I am today.
Logan, have you talked to the Texans at all in this process?
I believe so, yes.
You talked about the Senior Bowl?
Senior Bowl for sure. I might have spoken with them down here, but like I said,
A lot of meetings, huh?
Yeah, we have a lot of meetings.
Do you have a favorite of all the meetings you've had so far?
No, not off the top of my head, but I really did enjoy my meeting with the Titans that I had.
They're a toughness-based program now.
Right.
Yes, sure they mentioned that. When you were put up on the board, what kind of things they want you to show them?
Just common knowledge. We didn't do much board work with them. I ended up meeting with the assistant line coach, or one of them, and it was more of a get-to-know-you kind of meeting. But I didn't really have any. If he did, I don't remember, but if he did show me any drawings and board work, I don't believe I
What teams were the most interested in your football knowledge and digging into that?
I remember I did a lot with the Saints, Detroit, Atlanta, I think Arizona, and then a couple more.
And of your teammates, obviously you've played at a couple of different destinations, so you can pick one or two from each. If you could take some teammates with you to the next level from wherever you've played, who would you take with you and why?
I'd probably take Bryce Cabledew because he shows up, same guy every day, and tough as nails. Then Devin Young because of his leadership capability and ability to tote the rock.
I can see that. We've talked about obviously what you do in the run game because you love that. What's your favorite when the pass play comes in? What's the favorite pass play to hear called and why?
Be on the backside of the slide protection because it's just mano a mano, one-on-one block. You gotta win.
What do you think's your best reps you've ever had in that situation on tape?
I couldn't name any specific, but just really anytime you get the opportunity to show people what you can do on the backside is great.
Of all the questions you've been asked so far, was there one that you stuck out to you? Like, oh, that's a great question. What's your favorite question someone's thrown at you so far?
Honestly, I haven't had one.
No great questions so far.
None that make
boom!
Take
that.
None that make you pause and think, but it's just been a great process so far.
I admire your honesty. I'll ask one last question. It looks like I'm about the only person left here. You are a person that I think could play multiple positions on the offensive line. In your experiences, what do you think differentiates between someone who plays outside, someone who plays inside, someone who plays center? What qualities differentiate those things in your mind?
Your centers are generally thinkers. They're normally the smartest on the line, in my experience. Guards tend to be larger bodies. Tackles are also larger bodies, but tend to be a little more athletic. I think what's cool about the NFL is everybody's now athletic.
I just kind of go with those. But I do believe I can play in, for sure, 4 different spots in the NFL. But maybe I'll start snapping the ball, and who knows, maybe I can be a center one day. So.
And the pop in your hands. What things have you worked on to get more pop and more power in your hands?
Working with my O-line coach right now in the this process. I'm blanking on what this process is called, but
Pre-draft process.
Yes, pre-draft process.
It's okay. You're tired. I get it.
Working with Alex Boone.
Oh, Alex Boone.
Yep. So
I scouted. Oh God, I feel old.
Yeah, so he's been working with me and my group and do indie every single day.
Does it help that he's sort of a similar body type, or was to you? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you two could like pass for at least like maybe cousins.
I don't know about all that, but yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite thing about working with him?
He shows up, he's the same guy every day, no matter what's going on in the outside world. Expects high effort and toughness every single day, and I love that because that's the reality of the business.
Are you now at your goal weight, or are you still trying to maybe shave a little off?
No, I'm at my goal weight. 315 is my play weight. I probably weigh in at 310 just because of running and whatnot, but if I can stay around 315.
And then you'll get to 310 and then go to Wendy's and be back at 315?
Pretty much.
Well, what's your favorite go-to order when you do go to Wendy's?
Baconator and a spicy chicken sandwich.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You too. Have a great time here. There we go.
One that sticks out is like, oh man, that's me. That's me. I showed it to you.
Yeah, I would say my freshman year. That Southern University game when I drove and got to the pylon and made like ESPN and stuff like that. That's definitely something that I remember. Another one I would say the Mississippi State game my freshman year. I made a tackle. It's my first start. It's just something that I will always remember. I made a tackle and punt.
We mentioned teaming up with Jaden. Have you met with the Commanders?
Oh yes, sir. Informally at the Senior Bowl.
Okay, how was that?
It was great. I feel like they really liked me. Talked a little bit of ball, and I was able to, tell them what they needed to hear. So I feel like it went really well with them.
The first 2 words I wrote down when I broke down was pure violence. You clearly enjoy throwing people out of the club, as they call it. But what else do you have in your game besides just the ability to like really dominate people?
Yeah, just how I attack. I feel like I'm a great leader. I feel like I'm a great locker room guy who's going to come in and change the morale of the locker room. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm a guy who's going to, bring his teammates with him every way that I can. So they're going to see me doing what I do. They're going to see me working hard, putting in extra time. It's going to make them want to do it. So I feel like I'm a great influence to the locker room.
Will Campbell's up here. He sold you. Like, he loves you. What is it about your relationship that makes him just rave about you that way?
Yeah, that's my brother, man. Like I said, I speak very highly of Will. That's my brother. He's been my brother since freshman year. And honestly, before we even got to LSU, you know what I'm saying? I'm close with his family, close to mine. We always kind of been together. We've been kind of a tandem, too, since we've been at LSU. And I feel like that really brings us close. We went hunting one time, and I killed my first deer.
Really?
Yeah, he put the blood on my face. I ain't been back since. But, just stuff like that, just memories like that make us really close.
So he loaned you a rifle and everything?
No, I loaded the rifle.
No, you had your own rifle. He loaned you one.
No, we was actually with one of our friends, Bo Borderline, at his camp. So they had all the rifles and stuff like that.
Already there.
Yeah, we just kind of stalked the deer together and sitting in the deer stand and stuff like that for like 2-3 hours. So it was different for me, but it was definitely a fun experience.
30-06, or would they give you?
Sir?
Was it a 30-06, or would they give you? Oh, you're not a big rifle guy.
No,
Okay,
sir, I'm a fisherman, yes, sir.
Oh!
Remember facing Jared Burris, and if you did, are you looking forward to facing him at the next level?
Yeah, it's going to be fun to face guys like that again. I face a lot of high-level guys, playing young in college. And seeing them dominate the NFL, it's a great feeling to know that I blocked those guys. And that I feel like it makes me feel like I belong, for sure.
Thanks, Henry. If you want to grab your name, appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You do know me.
I was like, I heard that voice. I'm like,
that's the voice.
And I'm like, who is it? And this just happened kind of like I was working with Frank Cooney.
Yeah, well, a million years ago, I remember when Dane was still with, and I got a chance to talk briefly at the draft 20-ish years ago, probably. Ooh, yeah, wow, the time.
I know, it flies.
And so I'm a big fan of Frank and his work. And how have you been doing?
Trying to survive.
That's
I kind of retired about a
did you?
year and a quarter ago. I was with a Fortune 80 company that it's going downhill.
Oh.
But it was good to get out for mental health. Plus, I spent a lot of time on the Gratishar stuff without the team getting involved.
Well, do you mind if I talk to you about that a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me take
So-
my glasses off. Wait, let me take my camera off too.
Yep. So I am with one of my favorite people. So for people who don't already know this, I'm gonna let Ron beautify while.
We can't have.
Oh, you can't cross the streams. Let me pan away.
No, the NFL doesn't want.
No, I get it.
I was warned about that yesterday.
Yeah, go. I'm gonna let you do the thing you're doing, but I am pleased to be part of this, as they call it, the Not in the NFL crew, and maybe the most powerful member, at least, influential. I mean, Randy Gratishar is in the Hall of Fame. That's not all you, but come on, let's be honest, it's partially you.
There were a lot of people, like Broncos alum Phil Olsen, Merlin's
Very familiar
brother, good man.
Yep, and a really good player himself.
Oh, tremendous. And when he went to the Broncos, he played center after playing defensive line.
That's crazy.
And he enjoyed it. He was a number 58 for the Broncos. Great special teamer, too. But also, the Phil Long Chevrolet folks down in Colorado Springs, where Randy's worked for many years, were doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, some very impressive promotion. My role was to keep the awareness up. What I identified is, number one, the process had to be changed.
Correct.
Okay, which for 2 years we got 3 seniors in, and that got rid of the backlog in terms of the runners-up from competing subcommittees.
Yep.
And number two, keep his name out there, and also with information that resonates to the selectors, that they have said either publicly or indirectly, or folks like John Cherney have said that don't mess with this stat, but focus on that, and also keeping it fluid for the whole year, so that they kept on hearing his name over and over in a credible way. We're not talking about some third string tight end.
What I love about it, and one, like I said, to know somebody who had an impact on the process, and I remember when I realized people like Chuck Howley and Randy Gratishar waited as long as they did, like, these were guys who weren't, he said, they weren't good, they were incredible. These were guys 5 and 6-time all-pro type guys. It was ridiculous that they waited as long as they did.
Well, here's a stat for Randy Gratishar. Not that I would have this all in my head still. He started 9 full seasons. 8 of those 9 seasons, that's close to 90%. All pro or peer elected Pro Bowl.
Yep.
Okay, 90%.
Yeah.
4 times he was up for the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He won once, finished 3rd another time, and still was someone getting votes. Like, he dominated. He was like the Ray Lewis of his time without the, look at me.
Maybe Luke Kuechly is a better comp for kind of.
No. I can give you the footage if you'd like. One of the signature plays of his career was a 93-yard pick six against Cleveland.
You don't have to tell me what kind of athlete he was. He could have played.
Here's an example of a play.
He could play in this era.
And I've got the Howard Cosell Monday Night Football highlight. He gets up to the line of scrimmage. Brian Sipe is like, oh crap, I'm not going to hand the ball off on short yardage. He's going to blow me up, right? So then he audibles out, does the fake, rolls out, and Randy drifts into cover, gets his hand on the ball. It pops up. This is near the goal line, and it hits Tom Jackson on his stomach or whatever. Pops into Randy's hands. He's running for a 93-yard pick.
And no one gains on it.
And everyone's looking like, what's going on? Only the officials saw what actually, and Tom Jackson probably saw what actually happened. His teammates joked that it was the slowest return in NFL history.
He could run.
But that's the impact. like a Ray Lewis, you're like, oh crap, he's going to blow up the line of scrimmage, and then he's a difference maker. That's a 14-point swing in a game that the Broncos, I think, won by 5 or 3 or 4. Like, it was a tight defensive game. So that's the impact of his career.
Yeah, no, I remember he was one of the greatest linebackers. I think he was the best all-around linebacker of his era because he could do everything.
Yeah, and here's a stat that just happened. One of the historians in our group on the periphery came up to me and said, you know, no one in the 20th century, no Super Bowl team in the 20th century every Super Bowl team in the 20th century has at least one Hall of Famer, except for the 77 Broncos. And that I vetted that. Jack Silverstein, Paul Lawrence also helped just make sure this was airtight.
Yep.
We got to 73 of the first 74 Super Bowl teams have at least one Hall of Famer. Fortunately, last summer, Randy Gradishar, 1977 Broncos, made it 74-74.
Yep. Congratulations.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I have souvenirs for you.
You have souvenirs?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
People joke that I'm a kleptomaniac.
Oh.
But whenever they have goodies, I try to pay everything forward.
Oh, you weren't kidding.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you do? Oh, my God. Okay. Oh, wow. Really? Thank you.
Randy Gradishar, Hall of Fame cards, but also Steve Foley and Riley Odom's Ring of Fame, which was long overdue for the Broncos.
Once again, Riley Odom's being better now than he was in his own era.
He was maybe.
Oh.
Maybe. Well, you want it?
Oh, hold that up.
This is called my "Don't Leave Home Without It" moment.
Nice.
I always somehow have this with me.
Well, congratulations, because you put in so much work, and I'm glad it paid off.
I got one more.
Oh, good Lord.
Wait, there's more, Bill. Here's the game day program from Alumni Day. And the Broncos honored Gradishar as well as Otis and Foley. And it's really cool. It opens up. The Broncos do these retro posters. And it commemorated the 1977 Orange Crush year when Denver got kind of put on the map.
That's awesome. Thank you, Rob.
You are obviously more than welcome to that too.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I bring these things.
You're the best.
Every single time we're doing something over here, we're laughing and joking. It's just like a just cutting up personality. I would say about the three of us specifically, it's more of a competition with everything too. Like everything we do, we compete. But I feel like that's the reason why we had such a good O-line at LSU. Just everything's competition. If you see somebody doing a weight, you got to match or go higher. If somebody runs, you got to try to go faster type thing. So that competition and that brotherhood that we have outside of the field really helped us on the field.
Do you feel like that competition is going to run into tomorrow and on drills and some certain numbers you guys are throwing around?
Yes, sir. I think, in my opinion, I'm trying to compete for everything. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try to out-compete not just Will, Emery, Daly, but everybody else here, just to show that I should be in that conversation as the one of the best swing players in this draft class. And like me, I'm just ready to go. Like we could have did it off the plane the other day. Like that's just who I am.
How's them being here helped you in this process?
It's great seeing familiar faces. Like laugh and joke. We always laugh and joke. I'm training with Will in Frisco. We laugh and joke. Me and Emery sent TikToks, Instagrams, and just things like that. But like it makes everything more grounded so that you're not too high, you're not too like anxious and stuff like that. Because like I've known these guys for the past 3 years. Even before Emery enrolled in the summer, he was getting work because he's from Baton Rouge. He was getting extra work with us and stuff like that. So it's just great having a calm face that's around him.
Miles, solid hit on a nose tackle. Just blindside a tackle or walling off a defensive end for your running back? What's your favorite pocket?
to me specifically, I like blocking, like how you said the blind side block. I like blocking more of when people can see me. So like they're more prepared, and I like basically like it's me versus you, like top of the dog. Like you're aware of me coming, and I'm gonna like violate you. So I would say more of that nose guard type blocking down, but I just want him to see me though before like.
Yeah, and getting downfield, hitting safeties, defensive backs, stuff like that. How good is that?
Yes, sir. Like it's like I feel like like no disrespect to like DBs and all that, but they're all like they just be talking. So like it's great to really show physicality in that second level, that third level, out in space, the corners, all type of stuff like that.
You have zoning.
Not that I know. Not that I remember.
You mentioned some of the offensive tackles. What would it be like maybe learning from Tristan Wirfs?
I mean, you see what he do in the league. I'm not gonna lie, like he's one of those guys that is in the conversation of one of the best in the league, and I just feel like growth. Like I'm always looking to learn. I'm always looking to get better. I feel as though I see myself as a sponge. Somebody has like a different technique to show me. I'm just open to learning it from the best. So definitely him. Like he's phenomenal.
Miles, you have zone and gap experience. Talk about your assignments and what you're doing differently with like footwork and things like that in your eyes and those two things.
So I would say like wide zone we got towards the end of the season. Wide zone is different from outside zone because wide zone is more really stretch and puncture. So we're not really trying to reach completely because the running back has free will to stretch and puncture. So that footwork is more like stepping up. Like when I'm on the backside, I like being on the backside of wide zone. Even though that's not the point of attack, the ball always cuts. It always stretches, and then punctures right there. So I like being that person whether I got like a 2-eye, got to block a nose, a 3 tackle, or I have a blitzing linebacker. But we also, like me, my favorite thing, honestly, is gap. Like I said earlier, that pulling, that knocking somebody out, just like imposing your will on somebody, that's the type of play style that I like to play with.
Some younger LSU players that we should be on the lookout for that could be here in the next few years.
So I would say a bomb squad. They're specifically dogs, in my opinion. Definitely. We have a person that I like to mention, Cohen Eccles. He's just a dog mentality. I wanted him to have number 70 after me because, like, I feel as though even though he's younger, but I see my younger self in him. But also Carius. I don't know if you've seen the clip of him benching. He had like 40-something reps on the bench the other day. We're testing the 225. Like, he's a young guy that I feel like can step in and have a crazy impact right away. Then you got Tyree Adams, Weston Davis. Like, the list goes on and on. Bo Borderline. Like everyone always asks me, like, is there going to be like a drop off of the unit just because 4 people left? But I think it's going to elevate the unit. I feel like this year, with Nuss, the O-line, they could definitely win the Joe Moore in the national championship.
Miles, have you met with the Dallas Cowboys?
Yes, sir.
Formally or informally?
Informal.
As a pass protector, what game do you think you had your best game? The game you show everybody.
I don't want to come off as cocky, but I feel like any game, like no matter who I play, no matter it's the best team, the worst team, I feel like pass protection is something that I bring to the table and something that I excel at. So you could just literally watch any game.
What's your favorite threw 'em out of the club play, where a guy just goes?
Probably UCLA at the end. I think I had a three technique at the end of the game, and I just took him and just slammed him. And like I just like that gratification of being like what like type thing.
During your time at LSU, do you remember facing Jared Verse? What was that like, and do you look forward to facing him at the next level?
Yeah, Jared Verse is definitely a good player, phenomenal. Like he has good contact balance, good strength, and stuff like that. But yeah, I played him the past 2 years. I was at guard. I was at left guard the first year, right guard the second year. So I really didn't get as much against him specifically, but he's a dog. I definitely look forward to playing him. Whether I go tackle, guard, whatever, like I'm ready.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Over here.
Appreciate it. Unfortunately, I will not be testing. I'll only be doing the bench press. So I'm perfectly healthy, kind of set me back on the training a little bit, but I'll be doing everything in per day.
Charles, this week?
I have not met with him today.
Charles, you formally met with the Kansas City Chiefs, and what would it be like to block for Patrick Mahomes?
I have not formally met with the Kansas City Chiefs, but it'd be an honor as well. Like, honestly, any team that see me and pick me,
as a draft pick, I'd be honored for any team. I'd give them my best.
Charles, mentally, what makes you a great offensive lineman?
One more time.
What about your mental aspect makes you a great offensive lineman?
Yeah, so I say kind of like other than the level of the game, I kind of treat like a blocking assignment like doing my job. I'm gonna do the best I can no matter what. If I'm hurt, I'm gonna do the best I can. If I'm perfectly fine, I'm gonna do the best I can. And I just love being physical. So been wrestling since 7th grade, been putting guys on the ground since 7th grade. I love doing it.
Charles, when did
Gapper zone.
One more time.
Gapper zone.
I'd say zone, definitely zone. But I am a fan. I feel like you can get nitty gritty in the gap.
Charles, what has this offseason kind of been like for you as you covered? How are you kind of looking to show? What are you looking to show that NFL teams?
Yeah. So off season, unfortunately it was a setback. Things were not expected. Got hurt my last game. Definitely was not expecting that. But I think I'm making up for lost time now, and I'm just ready to show them how athletic I am.
Charles, what about your character? You could have shown that.
Yes. Just showing that I'm a great guy. Yeah, I'm a nice guy, but even though I'm nice off the field, even though I'm nice off the field, on the field, I'm a dog.
Have you met with the 49ers yet this week?
I've not met with the 49ers yet.
Charles, were you an armbar guy? Were you a sink a deep half guy? Were you a grapevine guy? Like, what did you tend to finish guys with when you wrestled?
So I was a big double leg takedown guy. So
Yeah.
Hit them on the ground. I throw a half in, throw a half Nelson, and then a lot of times I get guys in an arm and head hip toss.
Yep.
And then just finish it from the hip toss.
And that obviously translates to football. The ability to use leverage, chain levels, explosiveness. What's the play that you think best shows that same explosiveness, how to finish guys and use leverage that you learned as a wrestler?
I'd say the wide zone, being placed out of the wide zone. I can really torque my body and throw a guy on the ground and then finish it from there.
Thank you.
Charles, from the 7-5, obviously.
Yes, sir, 7-5.
Yes, sir. Went to William & Mary. Not a lot of guys from William & Mary make it here. What does it mean for you to make it here from the 7-5? Obviously, we produce a lot of talent, but William & Mary, what does it mean to get here from William & Mary?
Yeah, it means a lot, honestly. So Willie and Mary, they took a shot on me coming out of high school. I really didn't know too much, but they really helped develop me, and I'm just glad I can put them on the map, and as well let people know that there are players anywhere. So I got a couple guys too, so hopefully they can get a shot as well.
Have you met with the Dallas Cowboys?
I have met with the Dallas Cowboys.
Formally or informally?
Formally.
Thank you.
Any guidance from some of the leaders like Mike Tomlin, Sean McDermott from that area?
Yeah. So they're saying just be yourself through this process. They already like your film, so be yourself. They're trying to get to know you personally and show off your football IQ the best you can.
Quite a few CAA guys here represent the combine. What does it say about the talent at conference, and how cool is it to see some other guys that you played against over the course of your career here at the combine too?
It says about the talent. It says that there are some dogs in the CAA. There's some dogs everywhere, honestly. And then it's nice, honestly, representing. I'm being honored as one of the guys that I can represent. It's really a blessing.
Do you have a favorite play on film that sticks out to you that best displays your skill set?
I'd say backside of any wide zone play when I'm getting to the second level, and then I'd say play side if I'm on a double team coming down and hitting the hip, getting guys on the ground, and then also just play side of wide zone where I can stretch the edge, throw them out.
What weight did you play at this year?
Yeah, started off season 300, and I think towards the end of it got to 295, 290, but right now over 305.
What's been kind of the development of kind of your body over the course of your career? Obviously, you have a wrestling background, so it's maybe not as heavy for offensive linemen.
Yeah. I'd say first time I stepped on the scale, I've been telling this a lot, honestly. First time I stepped on the scale, I was 257, so I was wrestling 220 coming out of high school. So definitely had to develop a lot. We really didn't lift too many weights in high school, so that was another thing. But we had a fantastic strength program and strength staff. They really helped me out. Like I said, doing extra work in the summers really helped me out. So I went from like 257 first time stepping on. First season I think it was 260, then 270, 280, 290, 300. That's pretty much the progression.
And then, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, what did going against Nate Lynn a bunch do for you?
Oh, him and you know John Pius?
Of course.
Yeah. Those are my guys. We had the iron sharpens iron mentality. They're really one of the reasons that I got so good as I am. Going against excellent pass rushers like them just helped me every day. I was working to get better every day, get better than them. Win some, lose some, but every time I lose some, I was trying to get right back there to beat them.
What do you think is the thing that's helped you to develop the most from that 257-pounder to a guy who's now going to move well at over 300 pounds?
Honestly, just stay in the path. I had faith in my program. They would put me in the best situation that they could, and I stayed on path, trusted God, and I did that.
And who's the guy from? And my mom's law degree is from Marshall With, and I went to Green Run.
Yeah.
But who's the guy who's still back there who you think could be up here one day?
Yeah, I'd say we got a couple guys. You mean like senior or like a lower class?
Pick anybody that you think has legitimate pro potential.
Yeah, so we got a couple guys. I'd say Alex Washington, he's a guy. Quinn Osborne, he's a guy. Hollis Mathis, he's a guy as well. Let me see, we got a couple other guys. Bronson Yoder, he's a guy. I don't know about
Yoder, yeah.
Yeah. And there's just a few of the guys that we got.
Can you kind of walk me through your Cowboys Combine meeting and what it would mean to play for them?
So the meeting was mostly, I went in there, just talked about my film, breaking down my football IQ for them to see. I say I'm an intelligent guy, so just showing how intelligent on and off the field I am, talking about my character, and then honestly, I was born a Cowboys fan, so the minute I couldn't remember, my dad's like, "You're a Cowboys fan," so it'd really be an honor to play for the Cowboys.
Hey Charles, you started playing football your junior year of high school. What was it? What got you on the field?
I've been telling this story a lot too. So I was at a wrestling tournament.
Yeah.
We hosted the regional tournament at my school. We had the biggest gym in the region. So I was in the wrestling room, wrestling around a little bit with the football coach, head football coach. He was in the room. He was like, there was an old lineman that already played. He was bigger than me, like about same height basically, but like 270. I was 220. He really didn't know what he was doing, so I could easily take him down. And my coach was like, "Hey, you can do that. You got a starting spot on the team."
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. So you have the opportunity, if you have the opportunity, to take somebody with you that you've played either with or against up to the next level. Who are the guys you'd want to take with you?
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to stick with the guys I played with, but like the names I mentioned, Alex Washington, Quinn Osborne, Bronson Yoder, Hollis Mathis. We have Marcus Barnes as well. He's a great guy. He's a dog. And we're honestly just a few. We have a couple more. So if you guys are at Pro Day, you'll see a bunch of talent.
Getting back to Pius and Lynn.
Yeah.
Obviously they have similarities but big differences as well. For those who aren't familiar, and I am familiar with those two, I tried, once again, I bothered Jim Nagy about trying to get Nate to the Senior Bowl, but what makes those guys good? Like how are they different and how are they the same?
Yeah, I'd say both of them have relentless mentality. So they're guys that will chase the ball down even if it's 20 yards down the field. I'd say their pass rush they were excellent.
Yep.
So for John Pius, he was a great bender. He was very quick. He was my size, so like going against my size, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. In that case, it was a little more difficult, but he really helped me get better. And then Nate Lynn, same as well. He's a little bit shorter, but he has excellent hands, excellent feet. He's a guy that has a very high football IQ, and they're both terrific players.
Are you doing everything, all drills here?
Only bench press because of the injury, so it set me back a little bit. I am healthy, but trust in God and trust in the process.
Got it.
Charles, mixing it up in the box or getting downfield and letting the little guys have it?
I'm a fan of all of it, honestly. I love blocking an open field. It gives me a chance to show my athleticism. I remember we had a play where I fade down for a couple steps. I get out on the corner, and I remember it was against Hampton. I dumped him on the sideline. So I'm a fan of just throwing guys around.
Who would you say that you model your game after, and maybe a guy that you kind of see similar characteristics in your game?
I say Teron Armstead. So we're kind of physically the same,
Also an FCS guy.
Yeah, also an FCS guy. So I got a chance to meet him at the O-line Mastermind. Shout out Duke. And,
Duke Manyweather.
Yeah, Duke Manyweather. Just shout out him, and then just Teron Armstead, and then I had a chance to pick his brain. He gave me a little bit of advice, and here I am now.
Also a two-sport athlete, an 8-time All-American shot put in distance.
What was that, getting to pick his brain? What would you learn from that conversation, you think?
So learning a little bit about the run game, but also just like what it takes to get here. Like coming from a small school as well, kind of just like told me about his path a little bit, and then like how things worked out for him.
Now, obviously, all Masterminds co-created by Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
You get a chance to talk with him as well?
I did get the chance to talk to him, not as personal, but got a chance to sit in a clinic with him, explaining some Y zone stuff, which was really helpful. Is the fact that we run a lot of Y zone at William & Mary.
What would it mean to learn under him? If you were selected by the Eagles.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm a sponge. Like same with Colby Sorsdale and Andrew Trainer, two guys that were two guys that were tackles that played in the NFL. I feel like I'm a sponge. I'm soaking up information. I use what they give me, and So.
What does this moment mean to you? Have you been able to enjoy this experience?
Yes, ma'am, I have. So it means a lot, honestly. Coming from a smaller school, or quote unquote smaller school, again, if you asked me 4 years ago, beginning of my football career, would I be doing this? I definitely would not. So I would definitely say no. So it means a lot to be able to be honored as a guy, be picked as a guy, one of 50 O-linemen that can represent nationally.
So coming from a smaller school, and you're like, how important do you think that it is for smaller schools to, or the talent out of smaller schools to be recognized?
I think it's very important because there are guys, sometimes it gets lost in everybody's looking at the bigger schools like the Alabamas and the Georgias, but there are great guys at any school, like William & Mary, for example.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of the new eating, right? They changed your diet tremendously.
Yeah.
Now, some guys hate it. I admit that they are not thrilled with it, but some guys enjoy it. Do you have a favorite part of eating differently?
I'd say the fact that I can eat a lot of stuff now, like I can eat, I always love eating, but I can eat a lot of stuff that's healthy. So like, I'm not really worried about how it's going to affect me. I'd say the worst part is definitely the poops.
Thank you. That is a moment. Now that's going to get, I'm just warning you, that's getting clipped. You're going to see that.
It's all good.
I have one last question for you.
Yes, sir.
I also grew up wrestling. I think that beyond the physical stuff, it does something great for you mentally, right? What is growing up a wrestler done for you mentally that's going to help you to be a great player?
Yeah. So a question that Coach Dan Campbell had asked me was, what does grit mean to you? Or like, what's an example of grit in your life? And I gave an answer, but like, thinking about that some more, I had another answer I could have given him. I remember I was wrestling sophomore year, this guy from Lake Taylor. We were both 220, but he was a different 220. I was kind of pudgy, not really physically there yet. I remember his first time I wrestled him, he beat me in like the first round. So second year, started playing football, got back out there. I think I wrestled him like 4 times that year, that junior year. Yeah, first match, I lost that match. Second match, got a little bit closer. Third match, I think I lost by like 2 points. And then next time I saw him in the regional championship. And I won that game. I won that match at the last second. So that's an example of grit. What grit means to me, an example of grit in my life, and as well as an example of what it means to be a wrestler. Just that mental fortitude to keep going, no matter if you lost to a guy 0-12 before. It's all about that next play, that next match.
What'd you hit him with to get that win?
Hip toss.
Hip toss. Yes, you are a hip toss guy.
Did you have a formal with it? Was that in a formal meeting?
It wasn't a formal meeting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm in wrestling too, so
All
like
right.
I respect the craft.
Yeah.
How do you apply your techniques in wrestling to football? And I always ask people this question: what's more difficult, football or wrestling?
So I say at the beginning, wrestling was a lot more difficult, but now that I've definitely gotten past in collegiate level of I'd say collegiate level of wrestling is probably harder than collegiate level of football, but from my experiences, football has been a lot harder. Dealing with a lot more injuries during football, dealing with a lot more things. But I say it translates by, like I said earlier, having good body control, having good leverage. I've been put in some kind of crazy positions on in my body, or been put in kind of like crazy positions, and somehow I always can maintain my feet. I can maintain leverage even from even my waist is in front of me, my feet are behind me. I can still like stay on my feet and just drive through and finish the block.
Do you watch actual wrestling in your spare time?
Not as much as I like, but I do follow the Olympics. Yeah. And then I remember watching Kerry Collette growing up. Yeah. There's a guy that we always try to learn different moves from. So yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
757.
757.
Hey, Bill, I wanted to introduce you.
Hey,
Michael McQuaid.
Hi, Michael
How's it
McQuaid.
going? How's it going?
He's one of the
Pro
Football Ireland.
I'm from Ireland.
Oh, Pro Football Ireland.
Started
So we got Sam Monson. Now you're coming up.
Do you know, Sam's been brilliant to us. I've missed him all week. I haven't seen him.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give you
Is
a
he still
quick. I think so. I'm going to give you a quick hint to always find him. So he always is with Steve. Steve's like 6'9". So then you look down a foot and there's Sam.
I must give him a shot. I never even fought, but I only get in on Thursday evening.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna let you, before you walk away, tell me a little about how did you get here?
I feel like I'm joking, but I started
NFL fan for about 10 years. Started looking at teams around 2018, 2019, and with COVID, it just blew up. So it's just went really strength to strength in different levels throughout the last few years. Obviously, an expanded base in London, but now with Dublin coming up, I think it's really helped us. And there's a lot of guys now playing Gaelic football who are transitioning to American football as well.
I'm seeing more and more Irish guys in my DMs asking me American football questions. So it looks like maybe American football is gaining more traction in Ireland.
It is. We had 5 guys at the combine last year.
Yeah.
4 from a Gaelic background, 1 from a rugby background, 2 guys this year from a Gaelic background. So it's not even that there. It's transitioning where people are more interested as well, which is awesome. So
I keep hoping that the NFL will do more camps and things like that. Now, did you get to go to any NFL events before you got here, or is this your first time at an actual NFL event?
I've been to 4 Super Bowls. It's my first time.
You've been to 4 Super Bowls?
Yeah, I've been to the last 4. It's a bit mad, to be honest with you. But, no, it's good fun. And it's my first combine. I want to get to the draft, but I think it's going to be harder with Green Bay this year, so we'll see. But no, look, very, very lucky, very, very fortunate to the league and to everybody just helping us to continue to push us.
And who connected you to American football? Were you just watching a game and you said, I want to go do that? Or how did this happen?
Late night college is probably the best way to put it. Just games run at 1 a.m. on like a Thursday night, Friday morning, Monday night, Tuesday morning, and if you're at college and you might be studying late, they're on TV.
Yeah, you might be studying late.
Just love it, man. Love it. Like really, really love the game. And obviously miss it now when the off season's on. So bring on.
Well, there's really no off season. You'll find that out. There's always something to be doing. You're going to be here later today?
I'm here all day. Fly back tomorrow. So.
Well, I'd love to at some point get your contact information and follow up and do a more formal, longer talk because I love seeing people grow the game, and you're part of the growth of the game. So, Michael, it's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you. I have an Uber Eats coming.
Well, go get your Uber Eats.
I'm in the stadium, but yeah,
Go get your. Yeah, I'll be in the stadium later too.
Your number? Can I give them your
number?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'll take that from you in a moment. So I'm gonna. Things are done here. No, we're not quite done here. Whatever.
Well, you got to get a picture of us, but
I will get a picture of us.
Michael has grown the game. He's very understated. He started Broncos. I think it was Broncos Europe. And which still exists very strongly.
Okay.
And then evolved into his Ireland site, and they're one of the main reasons. There's 2 of them. One of which was an offshoot from his site.
Okay.
Well, actually, the offshoot, he started this from there.
Oh.
But he's probably since 2019 or so. It's amazing how he's almost not single-handed. He's not a lot of help.
Right.
But he's like the main person driving this, and if you look at the NFL Europe Twitter X handle.
Yeah.
It's no longer just NFL UK.
Right.
It's NFL UK and IRE or IRE.
Yes.
That's how much of an impact his organizations, the one he started and the one he's with right now, Pro Football Ireland, has done. It's just amazing.
Well, I'm excited to see obviously the talent that comes through the international pathways. I think that'll help, but if the NFL is serious about getting where the NBA is as an international game, the time is now. They should be, they have an opportunity to, especially as there's more players from other places, to sprinkle those players back in and say, hey, come see so-and-so do this camp, come see so-and-so do that camp. And then maybe get some of the recently retired guys, hey, come be an ambassador too.
They're doing that. They're doing that.
Okay.
You should see the events that Michael McQuaid has done in Ireland. They'll go to all these different cities, and like before the pre-Super Bowl, and they've had Peter King. They've had
who is recently retired,
former NFL players,
okay,
and others at their events. And I can't think of all the people that they've had, but it's so impressive. And they're growing the game more than they realize. And now the Steelers, Ireland is big.
Obvious connection.
And they're going to have a game there this
year.
year.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I'm going to see if I can fire one question to him, but I'll be back.
No,
Sorry, I really like power. I also really like outside zone. So I probably power a little bit more. I like that you can run. You get to run off the ball. Yep.
What's your favorite football memory?
My favorite football memory was beating Minnesota 2 seasons ago, and taking the Axe back to Wisconsin.
Joe, overall, you've played a couple of different offenses, throughout your college career. How has that kind of helped you with the experience that you've gained from learning all those different offenses?
Yeah, it's been really helpful. I played for 4 different offensive line coaches, so being able to take different kinds of coaching will definitely help me in the long term.
Joe, what are you doing to get even more explosive in like your hip area and be able to drive even more drive?
Just keep working in the weight room and taking more and more reps.
What are your favorite things to do in the weight room?
So at Wisconsin, we did a lot of squat, deadlift, and bench, the big 3. My favorite of the 3 is probably deadlift.
What's your PR in the deadlift?
565.
That's not too shabby.
Overall, what are you hoping to kind of prove here at the combine?
Just hoping to show my speed. I won't be able to do the bench press, but just being able to show that I can run and move.
Is there a goal that you kind of have for the 40?
I'd like to get under a 5.2.
How often do you do film study on yourself and on other players?
I do a lot of film study on myself during the season, making corrections. In the off season, I watch a lot more NFL film to see what they're doing.
Who do you look at the most?
Someone that I like to look at is Quentin Nelson from Indianapolis. He's really detail oriented and he's good with his hands.
What have you taken from him that you apply with your skill set?
Mainly just how good he is with his hands and his hand placement.
Joe, there have been a lot of players kind of throughout this process, former Badgers or even former Cincinnati players that have gone to the NFL, been through this. Have you talked to any of them, like, just to get their pick their mind, get some advice about this?
Yeah, I talked to my teammate Tanner Bordolini from last year, who came to Indianapolis.
And put on a freak show.
Oh, yeah. So he just kind of gave me the rundown and told me what to expect coming here.
What would it mean to maybe play with Tanner, a student back in Indianapolis, where former guys like Jonathan Taylor are there as well? What would it mean to play with
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome. Play with a lot of really good players there.
Joe, what's your favorite threw him out of the club play where you just tossed the guy all the way out?
Favorite in a game, favorite play.
It could be practice even. You just tossed the guy like he's off both feet.
I remember this play during practice of spring ball last year when I went to do a kick-out block on counter and just lifted the guy off the ground.
Who was the unfortunate victim?
It was one of our outside linebackers.
Oh, you're not gonna name him and shame him? Look at you being nice. Okay, I got you.
Joe,
what's it been like going through this process with Jack this week?
It's been good. We're roommates here, so it's nice having a familiar face and being able to go through this process together.
Is it true that his nickname is Spidey?
Spidey?
Yeah.
Maybe before I got there. I've never heard that though.
Joe, what NFL teams that have you gotten to talk to all of them kind of this week informally throughout the process?
Yeah, we had 2 days ago. We had a lot of informal interviews, so I think I interviewed with about half of the teams.
Was the Niners one of those teams?
I don't believe so.
Have you spoken with the Buccaneers at all?
No, I don't think so either.
Have you spoken with the Cowboys?
I don't think so.
What have you done, Joe, to improve your ankle flexion?
We do like kneeling, rock forward and backwards and to the side. Just help with ankle mobility.
Are you also doing things like Pilates? I even know guys who do things like dance, ballet, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have been doing some Pilates this off season actually, working on my core strength. It's really helpful for offensive line.
Yeah. Is it something you enjoy or something you just sort of grit your teeth and force yourself to do?
I kind of just force myself to do it. It's pretty hard, especially.
It's very hard. People look at us like, oh, it's like, and you do it. It's like, I'm dying.
Oh yeah.
This is the worst experience of my life.
Joe, overall, when you kind of go through this process, what are you kind of trying to tell NFL teams, or what should they know about you?
I mean, I came in as a walk-on to Cincinnati, so I just want coaches to know that, no matter where I'm drafted, I'll be able to work my way to where I need to be.
What went into your decision to go from Cincinnati to Wisconsin?
So when the coaches left, it was really hard for me to leave that coaching staff after all they've helped me with and I've been through with them. And I visited Wisconsin, and I love the area, I love the team, so it was an easy decision for me.
So I was talking to Jack about this. I mean, you guys, COVID, you changing schools, new coaches, a really tough schedule. I mean, to talk about the big picture, what that experience has been like for you to try and get you ready for the NFL.
Sorry, can you say that question again?
It's just all that you this last 4 years has been tough for any college player, particularly when you've been changing coaches.
Yeah.
So do you feel that you learn to adapt to these kinds of things?
Yeah, for sure. Like I was saying earlier, I've had 4 O-line coaches. So being able to adapt to a different coach is something that I've learned how to do.
What have you learned about nutrition and taking care of your body in the last couple months?
Yeah, nutrition has been really big for me. I really like to look into like how much protein I'm getting in and carbs and try and eat healthy. I'm in the training room every day doing recovery, trying to make sure I don't get any injuries, which has helped me these 5 years.
Where are you now in terms of your weight?
Right now I'm around 310 to 315.
Is that the goal?
Yep, that's where I like to be at.
Speaking of protein intake and your background in Cincinnati, Skyline chili or Gold Star?
Skyline, by far for me.
Right choice.
Can you talk about your experience at Wisconsin and what was special about that and how the program helped prepare you for this opportunity?
Yeah, something really special about Wisconsin is the team there, my teammates. Part of the reason the transition was so easy for me because I had a great set of guys around me, especially in the O-line. And just the people in general in Wisconsin were awesome.
We'll take 2 more questions.
Talking about that O-line group, I mean, last year it seemed like just a pure veteran-laden group, and then obviously Joe Brunner in there. How fun was it to play with a group of, that talented of a group and kind of set the tone for your offense?
Oh, it was really fun. Having an older group, it's nice because everyone's had a lot of game experience and they know how to communicate well. So we worked really well together as a group.
One of the most important things in physicality is getting rest and relaxation. What do you do to decompress and just chill?
I like to watch TV. Me and my roommates would watch TV to relax back at Wisconsin.
What do you watch?
My favorite show ever is The Punisher. I also just finished watching Yellowstone. That was a really good show.
I smell a new nickname now, Joe.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I saw you put it behind me. Thank you, sir.
No, I just figured.
Well, everybody, that is it for this. They're going to shut all this stuff down. It all magically disappears soon. On-field testing is starting at, I don't know, sometime. Looking at my wrist.
It'll start a little bit sooner today. I think it's going to start around like 1 or so.
Around 1, right? I think so. I will be back with on-field testing. I'm going to throw my phone on the charger. I will be back soon.
My phone is out now. Perfect timing.
I was going to say I really love your question.